It is Monday, April 6, 2026 at 7:30 p.m. in council chambers. Tony, please call the roll.
Bevins?
Here.
Chezak? Johnson?
Yes.
Stunek?
Here.
Yeager?
Yes.
Erickson?
Yes.
O'Day?
Here.
Badil?
Here. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. All right, next we're looking for approval of the agenda. I think we have some amendments to the agenda.
I do have one, Mr. President. Let's see here. It is the $10D. I would like to move up below the presentations before the, after the presentations, before the council committee reports. It's the IUP for Bridges of Hope. I think it would just be more efficient for the agenda if we get the presentation and then talk about the issue.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, I would move to approve that, and I will let you know I have one thing on the consent to pull, so.
Okay.
Yep.
Motion by Chezak. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Bevins. Any discussion? Seeing none, let's go to a vote. Tony?
Bevins?
Yes.
Chezak?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Stunek?
Yes.
Yeager?
Yes.
Erickson?
Yes.
O'Day?
Yes. We have an agenda. Next up, we have the consent calendar. This is a notice to public that all matters listed are considered routine by the council and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless good cause is shown prior to the time the council votes on the motion to be adopted by roll call. Mr. Chezak?
Yeah, I would like to pull the task manager, i.e. suspense tracker, and I have one thing to ask about on that. Otherwise, I'd move to approve consent.
Second.
Motion by Chezak, second by Bevins. Any discussion? Tony, please call the roll.
Bevins?
Aye.
Chezak?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Stunek?
Yes.
Yeager?
Yes.
Erickson?
Yes.
O'Day?
Yes. All right, next up then we have the suspense tracker. Mr. Chezak?
Yes, on the March 2nd, there was a motion made. It's in the minutes regarding a item Mr. Bevins was speaking to about a letter he received from the mayor of Baxter, and that motion carried on unanimous vote to ask the city of Baxter get any kind of minutes or the said letter, and that is not on there, and I have not heard a word about it since. So I would make a motion that we ask staff to include that in the task manager.
Second, Johnson.
Motion by Chezak, second by Johnson. Any discussion on the motion?
That's why we're here, to take care of these things if it falls through the cracks. That's why we have a task manager, so.
Thank you, Mr. Chezak. Any more discussion? Seeing none, let's go to a vote. Tony?
Bevins?
Yes.
Chezak?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Stunek?
Yes.
Yeager?
Yes.
Erickson?
Yes.
O'Day?
Yes. That motion carries. Next up, we have public forum. This is time allocated for citizens to bring matters not on the agenda to the attention of the council. Time limits may be imposed. Looks like we have a lot of people in here tonight. Might be for this, might not be, but we'll try to keep any time limits to about 3 minutes. But if you're here to address the council on anything that's not on the agenda, please come forward now. And if you're online, press *3. That'll raise your hand. Ask again. If you're here to address the council on anything that's not on the agenda, please come forward now. And it looks like we can close the public forum at 7:35. Next up, number 7, we have presentations. We have a couple of presentations tonight. First presentation, 7A, is the Camp Ripley annual update. Commander Fink, you always bring a crowd every time you're here. It's a big following.
I'm going to leave with the admin the Minnesota National Guard annual report for the city council to peruse at their leisure. So, Mr. Mayor, council members, Colonel Troy Fink, Garrison Commander, Camp Ripley, Minnesota. A brief update for you. Not a whole lot of changes from the last time we've talked, but some. So if we go to the next slide, please. So our mission statement has not changed at all. We focus on all of the community relations that we do, which is in some of the subsequent slides, as you'll see, in terms of our outreach. Next slide. Our leadership at the state level, Major General Sean Mankey is still the Adjutant General. He did get a new Command Sergeant Major, new C-Cell, and Command Sergeant Major Jason Rost. He did replace Command Master Chief Lisa Erickson just this last year. Next slide. Our division headquarters has changed as well. So Brigadier General Joe Sharkey, pending promotion to 2-star, and then his Command Sergeant Major Mark Dempsey. And then Camp Ripley's leadership, myself, and my new Sergeant Major as of March of this year, Command Sergeant Major Chad Turner. I'm sorry, next slide. There it is. Next slide, please. So a little bit of the economic impact that Camp Ripley brings to the area. You can kind of see the different dollar amounts as it relates to some of those categories. Pretty significant amount as it relates to the overall area of Morrison County, Crow Wing County, Cass County. Next slide. Camp Ripley hasn't changed its location. We're still smack dab right in the middle of the state of Minnesota. And again, bordering those 3 counties. Some of the accomplishments, I will just point out the bullet, or the second bullet on the slide. Camp Ripley in 2025 was the 2nd highest used training center across the nation. Some of the construction updates, we continue to renovate, modernize facilities, ranges, all across the entire installation. And then of the next slide is really the piece where we're pretty excited about to get open, and that's our museum, which is just adjacent to Camp Ripley. So that is on progress and looking really, really nice. If anybody drives by 371, you can kind of see how it's all taking shape. Some of the schedule, this is kind of the meat and potatoes of really the update of when we're training and what we're doing. So April through June is going to be the loudest, the noisiest time with all the artillery units coming in. And then July through September will remain noisy, but just different weapon systems, really primarily focused on tank and Bradley gunnery. Our prescribed burns, this is an annual thing that we do every year. We are looking to burn about 15,000 acres this year. We are well after that already. We're about now 8,000 acres burned this spring, so that is good progress for us. And then some of the community outreaches, you can kind of see some of the things that Camp Ripley and their employees do on a regular basis and yearly, really. So those are just some of the examples of what we participate in. Next slide. The environmental program, again, we are very good stewards of our environment. This whole team that is in the environmental section on Camp Ripley win awards year over year, as you can see in the top right-hand corner of the slide. Very consistent in what they do environmentally. Next slide. And then the A-Cub program, again, we're just a little over 40,000 acres in the A-Cub program, which is now really called the REPI program. A-Cub is just a subset of that program. It's a federal program that basically pays landowners to keep the land the way it is. Our state partnerships haven't really changed. The only real change here is Homeland Security Emergency Management Team has left Camp Ripley. They used to have a permanent office on Camp Ripley. They are now, I think, based out of Minneapolis, if I remember correctly. So, but DNR, State Patrol, still have a stronghold on our emergency management facility on the base. Support to civil authorities, this hasn't really changed. This process is pretty consistent. If there's a natural disaster or an event that drives support to the civil authorities, that request goes through the Sheriff's Office, to the Homeland Security Emergency Management Team, to the governor to get the National Guard to support. And then if anybody knows any families or members of veteran families that are seeking resources, these are just some of the resources that we have on the base to support veterans and their family members. Next slide. And then the safety brief. We did have recently a call out for the EOD out of Duluth to a residence in Crow Wing County to acquire a certain piece that probably shouldn't have been in that household in the first place. But at the end of the day, war trophies do happen to show up occasionally. But this is really just if you find it, if you see it, and it's off of the installation, we ask that you call 911. We're normally contacted also, but if it is on base, you call my DPS or my range operations folks on the installation to take care of it. And that is my update for you, short and sweet.
Perfect. Thank
Subject to dialogue or questions.
Perfect. Thank you, Colonel Fink. Does anybody have questions for the Colonel?
President?
Mr. Chesak.
Yes, I do. Okay, Colonel, thank you for your service, and please extend those thanks to everybody at the
Will
camp
do.
as well. Two questions. When you have an event that happened on Saturday, what does that do for morale when they find that downed airman?
What does it do to morale?
Yeah, how does that help morale at the camp?
Well, I'll tell you, we stay focused on what our current mission sets are. It does obviously affect everybody differently, but at the end of the day, I think the morale is fairly high at Camp Ripley in terms of what we're doing every day.
Colonel, I didn't mean to make it a political question. It seems like you're addressing it that way. That's okay, but I thank you for your service. And then with the 2,000 acres of burn that happened with the fire, you don't count that as your planned burn, do you? The acres?
That was actually considered a wildfire.
Yep.
It was basically started without actually having our professionals start it, but our professionals were on the ground during that fire.
Do you know what caused it?
It could be a number of things that happen in the impact zones.
Okay.
It's hard to, specify one specific thing.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Anybody else have questions for the Colonel? Erickson? No? Okay. Looks like you're free
Thank
to
you.
go. Thank you,
Y'all have
Colonel.
a good
Thank you for
meeting.
everything you do. Thank you for your service.
Sir.
All right, for presentations, next up we have 7B. This is Bridges of Hope. Welcome, Jana. Just introduce yourself if you would.
Sure, yep, Jana Sjogren, representing Bridges of Hope at 2011 South 6th Street. All right, we've got slides up here, thank you. So good evening, everyone. Nearly 5 years ago, this community came together to respond to a crucial need, ensuring that our unhoused neighbors had a safe place to sleep on cold winter nights. What began as a response to a specific need is growing into a strong collaborative approach that brings together nonprofits, the faith community, government partners, local law enforcement, and the broader Lakes area community. Along the way, we've all learned so much together. We've adjusted, we've improved communication, and strengthened our approach to work toward improving the lives of individuals facing incredibly difficult circumstances, while also considering public safety and the overall community impact. This presentation tonight, I just wanted to give it some focus. So while we've been doing this, we're in our 5th season, tonight's presentation, per your request last year, has to do with this particular season, which began on September 1st of 2025. As you know, later this evening, we'll be asking for your support to remain open beyond this, our 5th season, and to operate year-round, recognizing the need continues regardless of season. Tonight, we'll share outputs and outcomes from this season, along with the strategies and partnerships that made them possible. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to Bill, our shelter manager, to walk through some data from this season.
Good evening. I'm Bill Weir, representing the Bridge on 7th, 1926 South 7th Street in Brainerd, Minnesota. Since we've opened for our 5th season on September 1st of 2025, we've had 168 different individuals stay at our shelter for a total of 4,435 nights of sleep as of March 31st. The age range of our guests ranges from 18 all the way to 71, and those who rely on our shelter do so for a variety of reasons and lengths of stay. Some utilize the shelter for just a night or a handful of nights during a brief life upset. Others utilize the shelter on a slightly longer stay to stabilize in a more difficult situation in their lives. The range of stays of the season has been from 1 night all the way to 137 nights. And 53% of our guests stayed with us for 30 days or less. 33% stayed with us for 1 month to 3 months, and 14% stayed for more than 3 months while facing difficult barriers.
All right, so next slide, please. So we're really fortunate to work with this incredibly collaborative community. I want to take a moment to highlight the intentional work that we've been doing over the past year, with our Pathways project partners who are listed on the screen. Along with Bridges of Hope, we have Sharing Bread Soup Kitchen, Lighthouse Beginnings, and the Crow Wing County Housing Team. So I'll touch on the work we've been doing, and then after that, I want to touch on our collaboration with Chief Davis and the Brainerd Police Department as well. First, I want to recognize and thank these Pathways partners. They've really been at the table with us since the very beginning, and as you guys have, even before the shelter even opened. But over the past year specifically, as we listened to some of the concerns we've heard about year-round operations, we strengthened and formalized this collaboration and focused on the goals that you'll see on the screen. So I'll touch on the ongoing coordination with partner organizations. So, like I said, we've been really in this together for almost 5 years, but we've been really intentional over the last year. The leadership from each of our organizations had been meeting at least monthly, sometimes more often. We've been working to improve our coordination and align our approaches. We've developed a shared framework for services, a memorandum of understanding, and a unified code of conduct across all of our locations. This, we feel ensures consistency, accountability, and clear expectations for the individuals we serve. We've also been working on daily transportation and guest support. Lighthouse Beginnings operates our daily shuttle that connects the Bridge on 7th, their day center, and then the Sharing Bread Soup Kitchen. We've adjusted our guest agreement so that individuals staying at the Bridge are expected to utilize these services and remain engaged during the day unless they're working or have other appropriate arrangements. Within 3 to 5 days of arrival, guests are expected to connect with a Pathways partner, to develop a personalized plan to address housing, employment, mental health, chemical dependency, and other issues that might be standing in the way of their pathway forward, hence the name of the group. We've also coordinated staffing across our locations, including a shared staff who has a presence at the Bridge on 7th and the Sharing Bread Soup Kitchen. And we just feel like this further supports the continuity, reinforces expectations, and strengthens the relationships that we're building with guests who utilize all of our facilities. We are also working on progress monitoring. So to support this work, we've reallocated half of Bill's time, our shelter manager's time, to focus on daytime coordination, communication, and accountability with our partners and our guests. We've made significant improvements in tracking outcomes, and this is an evolving process, but we're seeing some encouraging results, as you'll see on the screen. So like I said, this partnership, the formality of it is newer, and the way we've been recording our data is newer. So since January 1st, we've worked with 109 different guests. 6 of them have, in that time, secured employment. 10 of them have gotten into housing, and 11 into treatment. Now, those are just 3 areas that we would measure. There are a lot of other ways to measure success, but those are some pretty significant outcomes in a short amount of time for people who have some pretty significant barriers. So next slide, please. So you'll see the left hand of this slide really just summarizes some of the programs and partnerships that we've gone over. The right-hand side talks more specifically about our partnership recently that we've worked on aligning our approach with public safety because we know that's very important. I want to thank Chief Davis for his partnership in this process. We have created a public safety plan. The plan we landed on lays out how the shelter operates and sets clear expectations around staffing, supervision, and training. It also outlines how we manage behavior and respond to situations. In addition, we are strengthening coordination with law enforcement through ongoing communication, data review, and check-ins so we can monitor and make adjustments as needed. So all of this reflects a more coordinated and accountable approach to operating the shelter safely, and it builds on everything we've learned over the past 4.5 years. And next, I want to introduce you to Samantha, who's new to our organization. She's our program director. You know, when we talk about impact, I'd be remiss if I didn't recognize the role that all of the community plays in this. The level of time and talent and treasure that people are giving to this project is really humbling. And while data and partnerships are important, I want to have Samantha come on up and share a story that really links the work to the real life folks that we're serving. So.
All right, as Deanna introduced me already, I'm Samantha Barron. I'm our new program director. I'm going to be closing out our presentation tonight by taking a moment just to share a story that really kind of, I think, gets to the heart of our work here at the Bridge on 7th. So before coming to the Bridge on 7th, Alyssa and her fiance Nick were hoping to manage a small motel in Emily when things just fell apart. With no pay, nowhere to call home, they came to Brainerd looking for a fresh start. And upon arriving to Brainerd, they found a warm bed, kind faces, and help when they needed it most at the Bridge on 7th. Through the Bridge on 7th, they were connected to resources, clothing, and transportation that made survival possible during a really cold winter. The caring community they found inspired them to keep going and ultimately rebuild their lives. And now today, they are building a new chapter. Nick now works for us at the Bridge on 7th, giving back to the same place that once supported him and his fiancée. Alyssa is a full-time student at Central Lakes College on the Dean's List, and they have found stable housing through My Neighbor to Love Coalition. And they've recently welcomed a new baby boy into their family. This is just one of the many stories that's come out of the great work we've done here at the Bridge on 7th. And we're just want to kind of end here with saying, you know, we're really grateful for your chance to share our work tonight, and thank you for your time.
Thank you. Does anybody on council have questions on the presentation? We are going to move into the item having to do with the IUP, but unless there's questions,
Mr. President?
yeah, Mr. Chezak.
I guess as long as the people are here, I'd just as soon ask my questions now because they are directly related to the IUP, but if that's okay?
That's fine.
It may not be directly related to the presentation, but is Jana, is she?
Yep, she's on her way up.
Okay, thank you. You were there?
Yep.
Yep, here I am.
Okay, so I appreciate all the responses and everything you gave me. It was helpful in the emails. And, you know, when this thing was going on last year, there was a lot of pushback. We heard a lot of negativity. We were, I mean, nothing short of attacked. And it's difficult because, I mean, if I walk out the door of City Hall right now and go north, where's the closest year-round shelter? Or even shelter for every month but the summer?
Outside of Brainerd, is that what you're asking? Cass Lake.
Cass Lake, okay.
Yeah.
Is that a year-round shelter then?
I believe so, but I'm not an expert on their operations. But Cass Lake and Bemidji is year-round, yeah.
Okay, and then west, you know where there's one?
Oh, Alexandria-ish.
East?
Oh, I honestly don't, I mean,
Okay, that's fair enough.
northeast Duluth, or, East Duluth, yeah.
And then St. Cloud would be south pretty much.
Yeah, south
Okay.
to St. Cloud,
So
yep.
what I'm getting at is one of the concerns is, and you've heard this before, that we now become a centralized area for attracting homeless people. Do you agree with that?
I don't know that I agree that is the primary folks who we're serving. Some people come here because there is a shelter. That could absolutely happen.
Okay, and then in the past, though, you've said our neighbors are surrounding counties.
Well, at Bridges of Hope, we identify our service area as Crow Wing County and surrounding communities.
Communities, which includes 6, 7, okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, so, we've been called, I've seen the opinion letters, I've seen emails were inhumane, immoral. Last year when we did not do the use over the summer. Did you agree with that sentiment at that time?
That you were inhumane?
Yeah.
Oh, no, that did not ever come from me specifically. I guess I can't take responsibility for how
Okay.
community members may have
All
approached
right,
you
yeah,
all. Yeah.
I'm
Yep.
just asking, I'm
Sure,
asking if
yep.
you agreed with that.
Absolutely not, no.
And then CWC, or Crow Wing County Community Services, they had beds available at the hotel near the shelter. Is that correct, last summer?
Beds were made available for the most vulnerable folks as they identified. I guess I wouldn't be able to speak to that specifically because it wasn't our decision-making criteria. There were some folks who we were most concerned about, from physical limitations or medical appointments that needed accessing and that sort of thing. So Crow Wing County made the decision to allocate some rooms, and because our staff had the expertise of, I guess, supervising an overnight setting, we had staff supervising that, but we weren't making the decisions about who was placed.
Right.
So, yep.
And then the grant money that it comes through the state, that was what used to pay your staff though at the
Correct,
hotel.
similarly to how we would use that typically during our regular season as it is now, because again, I'm not an expert on those, but they're housing stability funds, so it's not necessarily, they don't have to be shelter dollars per se, they're funds to work toward housing stability for a certain vulnerable population.
Okay, so, but that money from the state, that was, I think, brought up in 2024. It was a grant that the county, is the state still allocating those dollars to Crow Wing County that then gets shared with the shelter?
Yes,
Okay, and how much is that? It's every 6 months, right? Like 180,000 roughly?
correct.
Okay, so that's a twice-a-year allocation. Have you been utilizing all of that?
We have been utilizing, so we utilize on a monthly basis per the beds that we provide. It's a reimbursement, yep.
So has it all been utilized for most?
It didn't, so when we are open, we are utilizing our monthly portion for the months we're open. For the summer, it was split between the hotels and the staffing.
Okay. All right. I just, when we passed the outdoor camping ordinance, did you see more people coming to the shelter after that ordinance was passed so people can camp outdoors on public property?
Did we see more people coming to us?
Did you track that at all? Did you
I
know?
guess it's tough to, how would we know that that was the correlation, I guess?
Okay.
We have gotten busier each season, I can say that, but I guess I wouldn't want to try to say what the exact reason was.
Okay, that's all I have, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Chesak. Does anybody else have questions? Doesn't look like it. Thank you, Jana.
Thank you.
And thank you for all the information. This is miles beyond where we were a year ago, so we'll leave it at that. But we will move on to the next item. We've moved 10D to the next item, and I believe this is Community Development Director James Kramvik. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President. So Jana Shogren has submitted a request on behalf of Bridges of Hope for an interim use permit amendment to operate a warming shelter for the homeless in the Brainerd Lakes area at 1926 South 7th Street. The current interim use permit for the shelter expires on June 30th of 2026. The facility operates between the months of September 1st and April 30th of each year. The applicant is proposing to operate the shelter year-round. A new public safety plan and pathways compliance procedure has been included in the packet for council review. The applicant did work with staff to create the pathways compliance procedure after receiving a recommendation from the Planning Commission to essentially formalize that. The Planning Commission unanimously recommended approval with the following conditions. First one, the interim use permit shall expire on April 30th of 2027. If the Brainerd Police Department determines that the facility has been used in a disorderly manner and upon recommendation of the police chief, the interim use permit shall be brought before City Council for review and consideration for suspending or revoking the permit at the next available City Council meeting. And third, shelter staff shall provide a report to City Council each year prior to September 1st. With that, I can answer any questions or Chief Davis can.
Thank you, Mr. Kramvik. Does anybody have questions for staff? Mr. Johnson?
Yeah, Chief, thanks for all the work you put on this over the past year. I know it's been a lot. I know they're a real challenge to work with and get to move forward even an inch on anything. But how do you feel about this public safety plan as written? And do you think, as much as we can get from this group, do you think it's sufficient for the public safety moving forward?
Yeah, so a year ago, I was pretty clear on some of my reservations and some of my concerns as far as a year-round shelter. And, since that time, we've worked really closely. I feel really good about the work we've done to address some of those concerns that I have. Has it alleviated all of my concerns? Not necessarily, but time will tell. But I do feel good about how we have addressed it and collaborated with them to the point where I think it would be reasonable and I would support a year-round, 1-year IUP.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Thank you, Chief. Mr. Yeager?
Just real quickly, I have a couple questions for Mr. Kramvik. Ordinance 1521 allows for warming shelters. Is that correct, Mr. Kramvik?
That's correct.
And the Bridges of Hope, in your opinion, meets the definition of warming shelters as described in 1521?
They do meet the criteria.
Thank you. And Bridges of Hope meets the requirements of Ordinance 1521?
That's correct.
Thank you. That's all.
Mr. Yeager, Mr. Chesak?
Yeah, when I guess this might be for James, it's their policy, or I guess guest policy says when 3 to 5 days. Do you know why they have that variation of 3 to 5 days? And maybe I could ask the chief to see if he's comfortable with that variation instead of a set number of days.
So that may be more of a question for Jana as creating that document. Certainly, Chief Davis and I were part of these meetings that kind of helped create some of these procedures for that 3 to 5 days. But Jana, I know, could probably provide an explanation for that amount of days.
And I think I can chime in on this as well. We met several times, just a small group, and there are individuals that'll show up at the shelter. The goal here is to have people working towards a solution. Sometimes people find themselves in a situation where they only need 3 to 5 days. They don't need treatment. They don't need to go seek help for finding a new house. Maybe they already have a plan. Maybe they already have a plan for a new job that they're about to start. That kind of situation. But pretty quickly, when you're in the shelter for more than 3 to 5 days, it seems to me like that would be reasonable to start getting things on track. Jana,
Yeah, and I guess it gives us a range. I would agree with what you're saying, Mike. And I also think, we might have a day where intake is particularly large. We say we have 10 new guests in one day. It may not be feasible for our partners who we rely upon to work on these pathways plans. They may not just have the physical capacity to get through 10 new plans in a day, let's say. So a range helps give us some wiggle room to serve people well and not just be hurrying them through and checking a box.
And Mr. President,
go ahead.
if you could, James, repeat the item related to the police department finding that they have, what's the wording? Could you read that part of the findings? I forget what the term is there.
So yeah, it'll take me a second to search here.
You just read them earlier.
The contingencies.
Yeah, the contingency.
Yep, so number 2 would be if the Brainerd Police Department determines that the facility has been used in a disorderly manner and upon recommendation of the police chief, the interim use permit shall be brought before city council for review and consideration for suspending or revoking the permit at the next available city council meeting. That has been in all of their interim use permits that they've previously received.
Okay, the term disorderly manner, I'm asking about that specifically. What would fall under that criteria of being used in a disorderly manner? Would that be perhaps the guest agreement not being abided by?
Perhaps Chief Davis can maybe expand on this a little bit as well. Certainly, if there's any type of criminal activity or anything like that, may be able to review it. But I don't know if Chief Davis has any comments on that aspect.
Do you, Chief?
Yeah, I don't know if we're going to be able to identify strict definitions of what this is, but, as the police chief, continually working with them over the course of the year and observing, calls, responses there, cooperation, a whole host of things. And, if it ever got to the point of any one thing or a multitude of things started to increase our concerns, became alarming, we would, bring that to the council for a discussion and share with it what it is. And inform you to address it how you so fit.
Okay, one more if I may, Mr. President.
Go for
with
it.
Chief.
Yep.
So Chief, I mentioned earlier the outdoor camping ordinance that we passed and the numerous concerns that were raised, and many of them hyperbolic statements. And I guess I would ask you, do you remember any of that stuff being said, things that we're going to turn people looking for a place to sleep on public property, going to turn them into criminals and convicts? Remember any of that?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so, and do you, can you say, tell us right now, was there anybody that was sleeping outdoor in public property that you're aware of, arrested and convicted for doing that, which violated our ordinance that you're aware of?
No, we have experienced and dealt with quite a few violations of the ordinance, but I'm proud to say, and fortunately, we were able to work with some of our community partners, make it about resources and addressing the underlying issue. And in every instance, we received voluntary compliance at some point regarding our ordinance, to where we never issued a citation, imposed a fine, no criminal charges, no arrests. We were able to mitigate all those.
Okay, and then also related to that, were you ever able to find people that needed a place to stay, and were you able to direct them to the shelter, Bridge on 7th?
Oh, sure, yeah. And whether it was the shelter or, Crow Wing County, the housing response team, and there's multiple, entities out there working towards the same thing. And, fortunately for us, we were able to really work closely with them and, I guess maybe do a handoff, if you will, at times, and, let them do what they specialize in, and that's housing.
Okay, well, thank you very much. That's all I have, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Chesak. Anybody else have questions for staff? Mr. Mayor?
Yeah, quick question for Attorney Lang. There's a letter in here from what appears to be a law firm. Have you read through that letter at all?
I have not seen that letter, no.
There's 7 pages in here, so I just want to make sure that everybody has read through that. Interesting turn of events, that receiving a letter from a lawyer basically requesting that we allow this, which always has a connotation. But my comment would be on this. This is an IUP, correct?
Yes.
With an IUP, how quickly can an IUP be changed? If the city decides that they no longer want to have this as something that is an ordinance, how quickly can an IUP be changed?
Well, if the council finds that there's been a violation of the IUP, that goes right
Let's
back
say
to
the whole
council.
IUP, though. If the city council said, we no longer want this at all, how quickly can an IUP be changed?
I mean, they don't have the same duration as like a conditional use permit, which runs with the land. You have more flexibility with an IUP, certainly. I mean, that's why it's it's an interim. So you've got options there. You've got the ability to modify it,
Or remove it?
or remove it,
And that's
provided any
typically 30
procedural
days.
aspects have been followed, yes.
Typically 30 days? Okay. So after 30 days, if the city decided they no longer wanted to have this at all, the city could go through the process of having the IUP removed? Just in general, IUP from the ordinance?
I would want to verify that time period, but generally speaking, that's what you're looking at, yes.
Okay. Sounds good to me.
Is that all, Mr. Mayor?
That's all for me.
Thank you, Mayor Bedell. Anybody else have questions? Anything from Mr. Erickson in outer space?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. I do not have a question of staff, but I do have some comments. Would you entertain those now or prefer I wait?
Yeah, let's wait for a motion here. It looks like we're getting pretty close.
Ready when you are.
Ready when you are too, Mike.
Take your pick.
You guys want to arm wrestle over who gets to make the motion?
Don't do the
The other one can second it.
You're the president, sir.
You decide.
We have a heart.
I think Mr. Bevins did raise his hand first.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move to approve the interim use permit amendment contingent upon the 3 conditions listed.
Second. Motion by Bevins, second by Stunek. Now discussion on that motion. Mr. Johnson.
You want to speak to it first, Kelly?
Oh, go ahead.
Okay. I was going to make a very similar motion. I was going to have in point 2, if the Brainerd Police Department determines that the facility has been used in a disorderly manner or is not following the public safety plan as presented. Upon the recommendation of the police chief, the United interim use permit shall be brought before the city council. So I just wanted that one little section added to sub-point 2 where they follow the public safety plan that they presented to us that they say they're going to follow. I just want to hold them to it.
I think that's a good idea, Mr. Chair.
Friendly amendment?
Yes, sir.
And then I will support the motion. And I want to say the police chief, John Davis, has done a fantastic job working on this for a year. I want to say with Jesse Jones from Lighthouse Beginnings, an absolute great individual. He's pushed for, he really wants this, whether I trust Bridges of Hope, which I've given them an opportunity to rebuild some trust, and I feel they failed. Whether I trust them or not is really irrelevant. Jesse Jones absolutely trusts that with them being open, Lighthouse Beginnings can help more people and get more people back on the right path in life. And I think as long as we can keep the police chief happy, we can have some public safety components so we don't have people evading their parole officers hiding out at the shelter again. I think it's worth giving it a one-year shot. Thank you.
First of all, seconders okay with the
I agree with the
friendly
changes.
amendment? Okay. Anything to add, Stunek?
I'm just gonna make
Okay.
sure you got that.
Any other comments or discussion on the motion?
Yeah, Mr. President?
Mr. Erickson?
Yeah, I just wanted to comment too. I'm on the liaison to the planning commission. I made some comments there. I'm going to keep this brief, but I wanted to reiterate a few of the points that I made there. And I appreciate that Jana referenced a little bit of the history. When this first came before us 5 years ago, it was as a seasonal warming shelter, and it was presented as such. At the time after their initial, I believe it was a conditional use permit, when they came back to reapply is when it came back as a year-round shelter. And it's really at that point when a lot of concerns were raised by the city and frankly from community members, from neighbors. And like Chief Davis said, are my concerns completely alleviated? Mine are not. The concerns that I had then and the concerns that I still have are some that have been brought up tonight about, one, does going year round create a permanent culture of dependence? And two, will this become an attraction for other communities and for at-risk individuals to come to Brainerd to use these services? So those concerns remain for me. Looking back, again, last year, I think the response was quite indignant that the city might even have concerns. And I think we had very legitimate concerns. Again, we're hearing from residents, we're hearing from the neighbors. That was then. Fast forward to now. I started my remarks in the Planning Commission by thanking Bridges, thanking Jana, and as has been mentioned, particularly thanking Chief Davis for the cooperation and I think the very productive conversations that have happened since that time, not least of which, for me in particular, was acknowledging the legitimate concerns of the city and from the residents and the neighbors in the area. I'm a ward member, so I represent Ward 1. This is in my neighborhood. And I think it's important for us as a starting point to be on the same page, acknowledging the concerns. And I don't think we could have moved forward if that hadn't happened. And so I think I just wanted to, for the public's sake, I wanted to tick through what I see as significant changes from then to now. One, the development of the guest agreement. Two, the development of Bridges' safety plan. Three, amending the safety plan based on the recommendation of the Planning Commission and working with the police chief, Davis, and staff, particularly to include language from the guest agreement, also including that in the safety plan. So whereby both the guest and the organization, Bridge on 7th, are responsible and held to account for seeing that that Pathways New Beginning partnership is held to. Number 4, there's been increased communication and cooperation with Bridges, Bridge on 7th, and law enforcement. And I think that's a crucial element. A lot has been said about building trust. I think that's one of the key elements that has built trust, I know for me personally. And then lastly, number 5, the development of the pathway program and the partnership with Lighthouse New Beginnings. So with those changes and those safeguards, again, I just want to reiterate the many conversations that I've had with residents in that area. What I've heard most is that, I think we should be helping people, and I share that sentiment, but with conditions. And that's what I hear most, is we want to help people. I think we want to be that community to have resources for people in our community, but with conditions and with safeguards. And I think these 5 things go a long ways. And I think this will be hopefully a success going forward. And I look forward to reviewing it in a year. So, Mr. President, thank you very much.
Thank you, Chairman Erickson. Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, so I want to follow up my comments before, and echo Gabe's comments as well. One about Lighthouse Begins, fantastic. Couldn't speak any higher of the conversations we've had. Chief Davis, you were involved in those conversations. And being honest, right? All the time we get people come in and they want to talk with loud voices, and everybody wants everything to be the end of the world. But when you really start to look at the issue and you really start to be honest about what are the actual things that could happen, what are the issues that could arise, and fight through those conversations and have those and live in that tough space. We had great conversations with them, and we're able to do that. I want to echo the comments about yourself, Chief Davis. I'm sad that we're losing you, because this has been an issue that I have greatly enjoyed your guidance on. Would you say, prior to our camping ban, would you say it was safe to say that the situation had become unstable prior to it?
Yes, I would say a lot of aspects of it were alarming, hence opening the conversations about said ordinance and moving forward.
And having that tough conversation.
Yeah.
Would you say that since doing that, the situation has improved?
Yes.
Okay, so I just want to make sure everybody's aware of that. I want to say this loud and clear, that that's a tough conversation to have. That's a tough conversation for our police chief to put his name on and have that tough conversation with the public about. And I greatly appreciate the effort that you've done with that. I do also want to just reiterate that this is something that is an issue that we are going to be offering services, Bridges of Hope, that has a great responsibility attached to it. And I will say that I didn't feel that you came in the first time accepting that great responsibility to the community. I think you were taking it on and you were doing a great work, but that responsibility and that tough conversation to have about the things that could potentially go wrong, I don't think we were there. I do think we're there now. I do think we have started to have that dialogue, and the police chief has been a big, huge part of that. From a city side point, and from anybody out there that is concerned about this, my reason for bringing up the IUP is that we do have safeguards as a city. If this gets to a point where this is out of control and we cannot dial it in, this can be changed. And this is not something that's just granted to people that they can have. This is an ordinance that can very easily be changed. It's not a rug pull. It's not a situation where we're taking this away. But if that happens as a city and as citizens that are concerned, we do have guardrails that allow us to do that, and we can do it pretty quickly. So if that does become the case, that's not that's not an attack, but that's just a reality of a situation. If that happens, we do have a strength as a city to protect ourselves if those situations arise. But I will say this, in the 2 years we've been dealing with this, it got stressful that first summer. We had to make some tough decisions. I had multiple business owners that were coming to me and saying, look, I can't speak on this because I can't put my name out there. It will wreck my business. However, we have a problem. We then addressed that problem. It created new problems, right? We have to have a place for people to be that can be safe. We have to come up with solutions. I think we've now worked through that. I think we've come up with good solutions. But at the same time, we have to treat this with the type of respect that it deserves, and we have to take on the responsibility of these services and not just say we're doing a good thing so we can pat ourselves on the back. We have to be doing this with the right mindset and with the right strength in order to make sure that it's correct. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Anyone else? I don't want to have to repeat everything that anybody else said or any of it. I think a lot of the things that I wanted to say have already been said, but I just want to thank everybody that did come together, from Lighthouse, from our police department, from our city hall staff, and from Bridges of Hope. I think where we are right now, like I said earlier, we're miles beyond where we were a year ago. We had basically we didn't have a whole lot of structure during the day for people that was set up, and I think that's what we're working towards. A little bit of a barrier is a good thing sometimes. We're trying to take care of our community and the most vulnerable, but not every other community besides our own. Sometimes you have to be somewhat selfish in the way you do it. So I think where we're at right now, I'm very comfortable with it. And if there's no more discussion, then we'll go to a vote. Tony?
Bevins?
Yes.
Chesak?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Stunek?
Yes.
Yeager?
Yep.
Erickson?
Yes.
O'Day?
Yes. That motion carries.
Duck quacks.
And the duck quacks. If you're just here for this item, we'll give you a minute or two to gather your things. If you want to stay, that's fine too.
Oh,
You're eating a bag?
Is it a real duck?
yeah.
Who's got bread for the duck?
A lot of people don't know you can turn your phone off.
All right. Moving on.
Fire code violation ended now?
Next up, number 8, we have council committee reports. First up, we have Safety and Public Works Committee Chairman Tad Erickson.
Thank you, Mr. President. We've got 7 items on our agenda. The first of which is construction contract and bid, Norson Construction for fire station renovation. And presenting this motion, oops, I lost my spot here, just one moment. The motion coming out of committee is to approve the construction contract with Norson Construction and approve total project cost of $5,994,282.76, and I so move.
Second.
Motion by Erickson, second by Chesak. Chairman Erickson?
Yeah, so earlier in February 2026, City Council approved the design and construction services contract with Widseth and designated Norson Construction as the general contractor. Following this approval, and later in February, Widseth finalized the construction documents, enabling Norson Construction to solicit and secure competitive bids for the station renovation. In mid-March, Norson came up with this finalized construction bid. And, you know, we had originally had an initial rough estimate of $5,500,000. And Mr. President, if you would allow, I believe Chief Holmes is there, and they made a presentation. We had to cut them off a little bit because we were short on time. But if they're available for perhaps questions, or I would ask that they would be given time to present their presentation a little bit.
Well, Paul and Chief Holmes, could you give us the short version?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Just to follow up, the current project cost of $5,994,282.76 just reflects the necessary adjustments to the initial estimate. Those decisions are driven on the long-term usefulness of the station and also mitigates any further maintenance expenses. Just to highlight, you know, the new station will be built for the next 30 to 40 years. We've integrated some important updates such as network infrastructure, rewiring of the aging fire alarm system. We've incorporated critical deferred maintenance such as roof replacement, exterior windows, soffits, an outdated generator into this project. We believe addressing these needs now significantly more cost-effective than managing them as a standalone project in the next couple of years. The project has obviously been impacted by some inflationary pressures, including an 8% increase in steel in the first quarter of 2026, a to 30% increase of copper over the last 6 months, roughly. And just, I want to let you know that I remain committed to being diligent. I'm actively pursuing further opportunities to offset these costs. I've prepared an application with the State of Minnesota Fire Marshal's Extractor and Dryer Grant, which offers up to $18,000 in funding. Additionally, more ducks flying through. Additionally, we're monitoring upcoming grants through Sourcewell that open later in the year. And then also through the utilization of Sourcewell procurement, the city will receive a 1% rebate on the construction costs, which reflects about $52,000.
Okay, thank you, Chief. Mr. Sandy, anything to add to that?
I can add a little bit to the inflationary pressures. We've been working pretty closely with Keepers Construction right now through the shop drawing process, and right now, construction pricing is very, very volatile, especially for products that are made with any kind of petroleum products. And so they're requesting that when we get shop drawing sent over, that review turns around in 1 to 2 days, because that's all the longer that most contractors can hold their pricing at this moment in time before they see pretty significant increases. So when we talk about inflationary pressures, it's a very interesting environment right now across the construction industry. So those pressures, I think, are seen in this bid cost. And I think, there's no real end in sight at this point as far as that pressure is concerned. So, I think in working with Mr. Holmes through the planning process and WIDSEF, and I think they've done a pretty stand-up job trying to reduce project
Paul,
costs
1
as
second.
much.
Could you guys shut the phone off, please? It's very distracting. I'm trying to get information here. You could just turn it off or turn it on silent.
I tried to turn the volume off, and I thought I had it all the way
Okay,
off.
just please get it shut off somehow. Go ahead, Paul.
I'm just, the inflationary pressures are kind of seen across the industry right now. And so it is, I think WIDSEF and Norson and Tim, they've all done a really good job of trying to cut project costs as much as possible through the process. So I guess that's really all I have to say at this time.
Is that all? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Sandy. Did everybody get that?
I got my limit of ducks, so.
Okay. All right.
Mr. President.
Yeah, Mr. Chezak.
This came up during the committee. Chairman Erickson had to truncate their presentation, and unfortunately, we were just kind of running short on time. And if we look at what goes on sometimes, it doesn't happen often, but it does happen enough. We got a committee that met gave ourselves 45 minutes, and I think our first item got moved, and we had a little more discussion than probably anticipated. But when we got to the presentation, I don't know how much they had left, but it didn't seem like they were very far into it. And we're running short on time. And what I'm getting at is we have our committee level meetings, and sometimes these items need to be brought to the full council. There's no point in repetition, regurgitation, redundancy, and I think we need to set our agendas to reflect that. So when we have this type of these types of items, it's always better to have it all in front of the entire council, not just a committee. Think of Gordian, how that turned out. Showed in Safety of Public Works for about 30 minutes, and then P&F wanted to see it again. So anyway, just a point that I like to make, maybe we can look at that in the future.
Sure.
Thank you. Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Chezak. Anybody else have questions?
No, did we not have a motion?
No.
Oh.
I don't think, did you guys bring a motion?
I made, Mr. President.
Yeah. Clarify
I
the
did
motion.
make the
I
I did
seconded
make
it.
the motion coming out of committee to approve the construction contract with Northside Construction and approve the total project cost of $5,994,282.76. That motion was made, and I couldn't hear if we had a second or not.
Yeah, Jeff seconded. Do you want to speak on that?
Questions, I would like to speak to the motion,
Okay.
though. Yeah, I oppose it based on two factors. One, $5,500,000 was not the estimate. That was the budgeted amount for the addition to the fire department. That's what we budgeted. So going up to 5.994, adding $500,000 to the budget that we didn't tax yet, we haven't planned for, and it's just, oops, $500,000 isn't a small thing to me, one. And two, I don't know if it's even legal to, after we award a contract to a contractor, to add a bunch of components to the contract that the other bidder didn't get to bid on. I question the legality of that. I honestly don't know. But mainly, it's a $5.5 million budget, not a $5.5 million starting point. So I will be opposed to it.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Anybody else? Mr.
Yeah,
Yeager.
just real quickly, thank you, Mr. Day. I raised some questions when this was brought before us as well, and these are more probably global questions than what we can take on tonight, but really a couple key questions that I brought were, part of this money, which is not, at least that I couldn't find, was defined as deferred maintenance. So my mind went to, okay, when were we going to do it, and where is that in the budget? So if we were going to fix the roof, where is it? And where are we sliding it from and to, and why is it here now? Well, maybe there's a perfectly good explanation for that, but I don't like the, let's just roll a bunch of deferred maintenance in now because it makes sense. It probably does make sense to do it now. I'm not arguing that. What I'm arguing is the process of the money sitting there and now it's being shifted around. The other, I think, key point for me, and I did ask, and they were very willing to provide, is kind of what our long-term warranty items are on this. We've got other buildings that we've bought. These are big purchases. These are shiny objects. Everybody loves them. I love the shiny objects. But even at a very modest number of 2% per year, it will cost us around $160,000 a year to do the maintenance on this building long-term. That's a big number. I don't want us to make a decision in a vacuum, not knowing what these shiny objects cost in the long term. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Yeager.
Mr. President?
Mr. Erickson.
Yeah, I wanted to weigh in further, and with my conversation with staff, had the opportunity to speak at length with Chief Holmes earlier this week, and I did not get a chance to speak with Connie, but she did provide me a very detailed email, and I'm going to say a few other things, but I may ask her a question about that email, if she could maybe share that with the rest of the council. And I'll give her just a little bit of time to maybe pull that up because I'm putting her on the spot. But, I understand that these are not insignificant dollar amounts. I guess where I'm approaching this as, I want to see the fire station renovated. We run into things with the annex. You're going to run into a lot of these things with these older buildings when you get in to renovate them. I'll just piggyback on the term shiny objects. I guess when I look at this, I'm seeing a roof replacement, I'm seeing windows, I'm seeing wiring, and these are pretty nuts and bolts things, and I much prefer the idea of renovating our existing fire station versus the potential of building a new one if and when that time comes. And so I'm going to support the motion, and there may be some procedural questions about how we go about doing it. But I guess the big picture for me is I want to see the fire station renovated. And with that said, Mr. President, if I could call on Connie to ask a question, if she could just summarize some of the details about the email that she sent to me regarding the impact of what the bonding amount might be.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Go ahead, Connie.
Thank you, Council President. So, I think we had it in the budget we did have it in the budget at 5.5 million. I think to speak to our budgeted number that we needed to have a contract with Widseth. This wasn't in the email, but a side note, we need to have a contract with Widseth to get a better pricing. And so without that contract in place, which occurred earlier this year, we couldn't really get the estimate either. So it was kind of a, yes, we should have done more work to get it finalized, but if we didn't have the money to get that estimate, how were we supposed to? So I think there's kind of like which comes first as far as the budgeted number. We were planning on issuing our bonding about $5,160,000 because we had some cash on hand to use. And so we would need to add in the cost of issuance for the bonding. Make a very short summary. The very rough estimate came in very high. Chief Holmes, as well as Widseth and Norson, have really come down in the price. And right now, the current amount is the $5,994,000 with using some cash and assuming some cost of issuance and a premium on the debt. We're looking at bonding about $5,654,238.
Thank you, Connie. My question is always the same. What amount is this changing our levy as of next year or years going forward?
I haven't figured that out totally yet, but I can have that for council, just looking at what the pool is on the YMCA pool, that could give us an idea. I think that we'll have a little bit of revenue offsetting if council would choose to allocate the rent that the Fire Advisory Board pays. We could offset some of that levy. So it would probably be very close to the pool estimate is what I'm assuming.
So somewhere around 7%.
We would go out 20 years on this as well. So it would be around that 4 to 5% is what I'm estimating off the top of my head.
Thank you, Connie. Mr. Johnson?
A follow-up, the pool request is 4 million. We could get 6 million for the same debt service?
I'm saying we could offset it with
No,
the
just-
rent, with the rent money that we receive. So we could take off like $100,000, for example.
Oh, you put that towards the debt service annually?
Yes.
Okay, I
Yes.
understand.
Okay. Mr. Chesak?
I want to thank Mr. Johnson. I'm remiss for not thinking of the actual going out for bids and how the opportunity wasn't there for other bidders, as he mentioned. That's always troubling for me because that can make a difference. What it have, but we don't know. That's the point. Yeah, I do have a concern, and I'm sorry, Connie, but when we respond to agenda items, it's supposed to be blank copied. Apparently, Mr. Erickson's email wasn't. I would have appreciated seeing that. So, again, I want to see this fire department. I think we all agreed at our off-site council retreat at the library that this was a priority. And now here we sit with questions that probably should have been addressed before we get to this point. And I'm not so sure how I want to vote because of this.
Thank you, Mr. Chesak. Mr. Mayor?
Yeah, so I'm going to push back a little bit as well, just mainly because if this was any other department, I love the fire department, probably equally to all the other departments.
That's
Good save.
But if this was any other department, I would push back on it. If this is parks, if this is streets, I would push back on this. It is a substantial increase. It's not a small increase. Our levy, you know what our levy is. This is a substantial increase to our yearly budget. And I would push back on it no matter what it is. I see that number and I see that percentage of increase, and fire department or not, I would push back on this, so.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Chair?
Mr. Bevins?
I gotta throw one in for the chief. I agree with everything that everybody said, but if we don't pass this and we wanna do this stuff tomorrow, it's gonna cost you more. So what are you proving by not passing it? If we're gonna do this stuff anyway, it's gonna cost us more. You heard Mr. Sandy say about the prices of stuff. It's going up. And especially if it has anything to do with overseas or petroleum, it's expensive, and it won't be cheaper tomorrow. I can't agree more with what everybody has said, especially with the process. But I don't think we're doing ourselves a favor if we decide to not do or to scrap the project or to put it off 6 months. I don't think that's a win for the citizens of Brainerd. So I'm going to support it and be cranky.
Thank you, Mr. Bevins. And I think I do have to agree with you, but Mr. Stunek?
As many people probably know, I spent a few days over there. I put 43 years on in this department, and I agree with Kelly. If we keep kicking the can down and try to Band-Aid it, it's not going to work. I'll give you an example. When I was fire chief, I came into work one day, and all I could see is legs sticking out of the hood of a truck. I went, "What are you doing?" "I'm trying to save the city money." "Why?" He was duct taping and using copper wire to try to fix something on the truck. That doesn't happen. If you're gonna do it right the first time, and if we don't do it this time, it's gonna cost us much more next year or the next year, and we're gonna continue to talk about it. Obviously, you know how I'm gonna vote.
I knew before the meeting started. Did it work?
Mr. President?
Everybody's wondering if it worked.
If it what?
Did it work?
No, I took it to where it was supposed to be fixed right.
Going around for two?
Mr. Erickson.
Looks like round two.
Thank you, Mr. President. I wanted to give perhaps Attorney Langle or one of our staff the opportunity to perhaps answer the question about, I think Councilman Johnson brings up a good point about the process and the potential legality about the bidding. I know this is a project that is is utilizing that newer Gordian process. And I was wondering if perhaps that had to do with, or could answer some of the questions about the process. So I don't know if it's Attorney Langle or Jesse or who might be able to answer that question, but could one of you speak to that?
Somebody have a quick answer from staff on that?
I can try to help. This is not an uncommon process that's been used on some other big projects. I know the landfill had a pretty large project, as well as I think it was by East Gull Lake or something. There's a couple other bigger projects that utilize the similar process. So it works very similar from not only a project of this scope, but even the ones that we were using with the annex and the library, just at a different scope and scale. So they identify the items that are needed for the project. Those prices are basically already in the book, and then they put that together to come up with the contract that's before you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dean. I'm going to agree with the comments that Mr. Bevins made. I'm thinking about this. Yeah, I wish it would have stayed under 5.5. And I agree with Mr. Johnson. Maybe if we did go with a different process, maybe it would have stayed under that. We could have put the limit on that maybe. We'll learn from this next time we have something like this. But if you remember about a year ago, we sat down and Chief Holmes, he put a couple different options out there that were being proposed. One was a fire hall that was going to be built on County Road 77 on the other side of Baxter on Brainerd's dime. Years ago, they were talking about building one closer to 371 and 210 outside of our city limits. With this process right now, we're keeping it where our fire hall is. If somebody else needs a fire hall in a different city or in a different area of the territory, that's a different conversation for other cities to have. But I think by doing it this way, we might be spending a little bit more than what we had initially budgeted. But they also brought it down from close to 7 million down underneath 6. And using cash on hand really brought it a lot closer to 5.5 than I would have imagined they would have with that original $7 million amount. So I'm comfortable going forward as much as I'm uncomfortable spending amounts of money like this. I wish it was free, but we need to upgrade the fire hall, and I think it's a good investment on this part of the city. Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, since we're doing round two, every time that we have an expense that is expensive, someone says, if we don't do it now, it'll be more expensive tomorrow. Everyone knows that. I hate when we do that. We do it every single time, and it's always about extreme amounts of money. So I get it. Yes, if we don't do it today, tomorrow will be more expensive. But that could be said about every single project that the city has. So on this one, I love the idea that we're doing the fire hall where it is, remodeling it, but it is just such an increase in dollar amount that it's hard for me to swallow without at least saying something.
Mr. Yeager.
Real quickly, I don't need an answer now, but maybe, is it impossible to just reduce the scope of work to fit within the 550? Just find some things we can live without? Or 5.5, sorry.
Chief Holmes?
Just, budget, value engineer, just still do the project, still have great stuff, but just, maybe find some things, some ways.
Yeah, I mean, we, like President O'Day said, we did cut a lot of things and went through the bids and certainly vetted them as best we could based on the need of the department. So, I mean, there's probably certainly some areas that we can value engineer and look at more closely, but at some point, we don't want to not do something and have to do it again in 2 to 5 years or 3 years or 5 years or whatever it may be.
Understood. Thank you.
Mr. Yeager and Mr. Johnson.
Yeah, well, since we're going around too, I do want to commend the fire department for including everything they need, unlike we had in the public works department. It was a 5-year construction project on one garage, so I'm glad that's not happening here. I do know prices go up every year. That, like the mayor said, that's not surprising. But if we don't hold the city accountable, it's up to the council to hold the city accountable. And when we budget 5.5, and they say, well, it's 5.9, but if you want it next year, it's going to be 6.4. We can say, no, next year it's 5.5. You get less of what you wanted. If we don't hold people accountable, it's a 10% increase every single time, every single department. And I just don't think that, I don't think we should accept that. And to the price of copper and petroleum and all that, I think Widseth has like a 20 or 30% contingency in there, right, Mike?
3. Isn't it 3?
Thank you.
Is that all, Chairman Johnson?
That's all.
Okay. Mr. Chesak.
Yeah, I got a question. And I'm gonna ask Mr. Johnson if you would allow me to, Gabe. If we don't pass this, will you agree to that question?
Yes, sir.
If we don't pass this, what do you propose?
I propose getting it within budget. Like Kevin said, is there some value engineering? Is there something we can remove that we don't need for 10 years?
Thank you.
Look at it.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chesak. Any more discussion? Seeing none, let's go to a vote. Tony, please call the roll.
Bevins?
Yes.
Chesak?
Nope.
Johnson?
No.
Stunek?
Yes.
Yeager?
No.
Erickson?
Yes.
O'Day?
Yes. That motion carries.
And everybody's the next.
All right. Chairman Erickson.
All right, thank you, Mr. President. Our second item is non-conservation tax forfeit parcels. The motion coming out of committee is to accept staff's recommendation. There's 2 items here in the same motion. To concur with the non-conservation of parcel 41241606 and to disapprove with the classification of non-conservation parcel for 41250756, and I so move.
Second.
Motion by Erickson, second by Chesak. Chairman Erickson.
Thank you, Mr. President. The city received a letter from the county related to these 2 parcels that the county has deemed to be non-conservation, and they're going to be put on land sale if the city concurs with both of them. And so we have taken staff's recommendation to obviously concur with the first one. The second one, the one that we're not concurring with, there is a sanitary sewer main that bisects that parcel, effectively limiting the ability for building on the parcel. And, you know, the city has the ability to say no and to hold that if there's a upcoming public project or a public benefit. And that's the case with this second parcel. So motion is to concur with one of them and to not concur with the other.
Thank you, Chairman Erickson. Any discussion?
And, yeah, one, if I may.
Yeah, go ahead.
We can concur with it at a later time, and it can go to public sale at a later time. But given that there's this water main with the upcoming public project, we'd want to keep that one off the sale.
Okay. Maybe revisit it next year.
Perhaps.
Okay. Mr. Yeager?
Yeah, thank you. This one also just kind of got short, so our dialogue was a little limited here. But my question on the second one was the water main is a site condition. If the county wants to sell it and it has a site condition that a new buyer has to deal with, it's not like the new buyer can just cut through our sewer line. It's a site condition that it remains there. So I see no risk in just going ahead and let them trying to sell it with the sewer main in there, or create an easement for us to keep the sewer main there and then go ahead and sell it. But that was going to be my question. Or at least my comments on why not just go ahead and sell it with the site conditions as is and let the new buyer deal with it. That's all.
Mr. Chesak?
Just want clarification, and maybe the public would too. We've heard sewer main, water main. What is it? Heard it twice now.
Underground main.
It's a sewer main.
Pipes. It's pipes.
We got pipes.
What is it?
It's a sewer main.
Thank you.
Okay. More discussion? Seeing none, let's go to a vote. Tony?
Bevins?
No.
Chesak?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Stunek?
Yes.
Yeager?
Yes.
Erickson?
Yes.
O'Day?
Yes, that motion carries. Chairman Erickson.
Thank you. This is our third item, proposals for 2026 sanitary CIPP lining. The motion coming out of committee is to award the proposal for sanitary CIPP lining to VEET in the amount of, it's gonna be $97,565, and then including the bid alternate for a manhole lining in the amount of $14,400, total amount $111,965, and that's so moved.
Second.
Motion by Erickson, second by Chesak. Any more discussion? Chairman Erickson?
Thank you. Just that the proposals were solicited earlier this year for this lining project. Just a reminder, as is noted here, there was $100,000 was allocated in the capital plan for this work. A lot of these properties, particularly in North Brainerd, over 100-year-old properties, if we were to, replace these pipes, it would be highly expensive and nearly physically impossible. And so I think the lining represents a more efficient approach and one that'll get us farther down the road in preserving the life of our infrastructure.
Okay. Thank you, Chairman Erickson. Mr. Johnson?
Thank you. As pointed out, we budgeted $100,000 for this project. We were under $100,000, but then we added a bid alternate for $14,400. Is it safe to assume that if the project would go over $100,000, we wouldn't do the alternate, or are we just going to do the alternate?
Chairman Erickson, I think he's asking you.
Well, that was one of the options that staff proposed. There are other manholes that will need this same treatment. So we could not go with the bid alternate, go with the amount just under budget, the $97,565, and deal with the future, the manholes at a later time. I think staff thinks that that'd be more efficient if we did it together in this.
Thank you for your answer, Tat. That makes sense. We budgeted 100. I'm seeing 111,965. So that's 11.96% over the budgeted amount. And staff is recommending we do it now because we'll be saving money because it might be more expensive in the future. I'm on a roll right now. I'm going to hold staff accountable to the budget, and I'm going to vote no on the 111,965.
Thank you, Chairman Johnson. Mr. Chesak?
Yeah, we budgeted for the sewer line, sanitary sewer lining. This is an add-on, and it would save money to do the add-on. That's why we're going over budget. Is that correct, Mr. Dean?
There's just some efficiency gains, and I mentioned it in the agenda item that you're accessing the private property essentially twice if you come back at a future time. But that's entirely up to the council on how they want to address that.
And Mr. President, we have funds available for this, do we not, Mr. Dean, in our sanitary sewer fund?
The project was budgeted for $100,000, so that's what we included in here. And then we're going through a rate study currently, and this annual program will be included in the calculations for that rate study.
Okay, did we not last year increase the amount for sanitary sewer from a staff recommendation from 50 to 100,000?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so do we have money in our sanitary sewer fund for this additional 11?
Yes.
Thank you.
Follow-up question on that?
Chesak?
Connie, can you tell me the fund balance of the sanitary sewer fund?
I cannot off the top of my head, I'm sorry.
Can you tell me within, above or below zero?
I would be totally guessing at this point,
Okay.
so, sorry.
I would guess below.
Okay. More discussion? Yeager? No?
Nope.
All right.
Hold on.
Mr.
Mayor.
Yeah, I just want clarification. So this would be more expensive if we do this later.
Mr. President. Mr. President, may I?
Mr. Chesak?
Okay, so we've been talking about sanitary sewer that was one thing that I kept bringing up And we are constantly in the rears for fixing these things. And we don't, if you want to talk about kicking the can down the road, have we done that in Brainerd for our sanitary sewer lines? Absolutely. And the reason why is because we don't want to spend an additional 11,000 and change on a manhole, which is part of the sanitary sewer system, to fix it when it's the best time to fix it. Because that's what kicking the can down the road is. Now is the best time to do this, so let's just get it done.
Thank you, Mr. Chazak. Anybody else? Seeing none, let's go to a vote. Tony?
Bevins?
Yes.
Chezak?
Yes.
Johnson?
No.
Stunek?
Yes.
Yeager?
No.
Erickson?
Yes.
O'Day?
No. That motion carries. Chairman Erickson.
Thank you, Mr. President. Our fourth item, proposal, is College Drive guardrail repair. The motion coming out of committee is to approve the proposal from Erickson Infrastructure in the amount of $15,625 to replace the College Drive bridge guardrail, and I so move.
Second.
Motion by Erickson, second by Chezak. Chairman Erickson.
Yeah, as you can see, March 21st, I actually notified Engineer Dean that I had seen that the guardrail was crashed into. And he responded quickly along with some officers to bend that guardrail back out of the traffic lane. And as you can see, we went out for bid and received this bid from Erickson Infrastructure. I'll add, no relation to me. But yeah, that's another infrastructure repair.
It wasn't budgeted.
All right. Thank you, Chairman Erickson. Does Safety and Public Works ever make money, or do we just spend it?
I resent that
We
remark.
did.
We tried.
Mr. President, on our last meeting, we had a.
Okay, yeah.
What was it?
I'm just playing with you. Mr. Yeager?
Yeah, I'd just like to comment also, if anyone did see the infrastructure that was, or the bid that was turned in here, and you may have read at the bottom that the exclusions to this project are, but are not limited to grading, staking, surveying, backfill, rock drilling, traffic control, winter conditions, permitting, bonding, bond share, and fees. Despite all of those exclusions in there, staff has told me without a doubt that we will not be using any of those exclusions, and we can count on this number. That's all. So we're doing our part.
Mr. Yeager? My question is are we legally bound to fix this? It seems like we don't know who hit it, so we can't make an insurance claim against their liability insurance. Is that what's going on here?
So for the incident in general, the driver fled the scene. They were not present when we discovered it, so we're not able to pursue that. I know I worked with the officer that showed up to file a police report, but we don't have anybody that we can charge their insurance to or file a claim against their insurance. As of right now, it's a safety hazard. Because if a car were to strike this, it's not meeting the crash rating that it was designed for. So somebody could get severely injured if they were to crash into this guardrail, and that liability would be on the city.
If I were to crash into that guardrail before it was bent, there would be a big percentage chance that I would get hurt too. But this brings up another question that I know Mr. Johnson likes to spend money on, and it's called bollards. If we would have had a big bollard there,
Would have saved so much money.
we would have saved money because we would have done it beforehand.
Just like at the holiday.
We do have a bent railing. It's on one of our more decorative roads, and it is a safety hazard. So it needs to be fixed. Mr. Johnson?
Question, is this coming out of the construction fund?
I guess our intention was to use the streets repair operating fund,
Okay, and we budget for that each year?
not for just general repairs, yes.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
Budget line.
More discussion? Seeing none, let's go to a vote. Tony, please call the roll.
Bevins?
Yes.
Chezak?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Stunek?
Yes.
Yeager?
Yes.
Erickson?
Yes.
O'Day?
Yes. Motion carries. Chairman Erickson.
Thank you, Mr. President. Item number 5 is vacant building fee at 224 North 5th Street. Motion coming out of committee is to take no action. I so move.
Second.
Motion by Erickson, second by Chezak.
Mr. President,
Yeah,
if I if I might. So this property experienced significant fire damage in 2023. The former property owner sold the property in 2024. The new buyers, they were informed of they bought the property with the intent to remodel it. And the city informed them that we were currently working on an ordinance that would place a $7,000 fee on the property or on properties with significant blight, such as this one. They purchased it anyway. Staff has been notifying them and working with them for quite some time. I think some of the comments in committee were that, you know, they might be interested and willing to work with the property owner to perhaps waive some of the fees, but, you know, not at this time. And then there's also a deadline. There's another sale coming up, so they're closing on the property on the 15th of this month. And I don't think there's going to be enough time to make some of those changes. So I'll leave my comments at that. If there's questions or other comments from the committee members or questions of staff.
Thank you, Chairman Erickson. Anybody else have comments or questions? So the motion is to take no action.
Correct.
Okay.
Mr. President.
Mr. Chesak.
Yeah, is it okay to ask Mr. Kramvik to weigh in like he mentioned in our committee, information he gave us?
Sure.
James, would you mind?
Would you like me to provide a summary, or do you have a question?
Well, regarding the sale and how that affects this,
I'd like to know, if I can chime in, I'd like to know what the pending assessments are right now and how that applies to the pending sale that's supposed to take place. I believe they said the 15th of this month, correct?
Yes, so the representative here did say that it would be the 15th for the closing. The fee was assessed to the property for the 2025 taxes, so there was a public hearing in October 2024 for the applicant to potentially to go against the nuisance assessments. Nobody did speak at that hearing. City Council did move forward with the assessment, so it was put on the 2025 taxes. $7,025 plus some interest that has accrued now. And then there's also a pending assessment, so another letter was sent this past year. City Council will review that assessment this October for the 2027 taxes. So those are the current assessments that are on the taxes and pending.
Thank you. Any other questions, Mr. Chesak?
Thank you.
Comments?
Nope.
Anything from this side of the room? This is our process. I don't know where to go from here. There is a pending sale, and it sounds like the new owner is going to acquire these assessments if we take no action. So I don't know how much sense it makes to deal with the current owner in a timely fashion that won't even affect the sale. Mr. Kramvik?
Yep, so any assessments that are currently on the property do have to be essentially sorted out at closing. So either there's a different negotiated price or somebody has to pay that assessment at the time of closing.
Okay. Currently, it's assessments from 2 years that will be included, but not the one from the most recent.
So staff could potentially work with a new property owner on the pending assessment with a contract with the building department to have it remodeled in a certain amount of time. It's what's already been assessed to the county that obviously is a city council decision.
Okay, thank you.
Can I mention something?
Sir, we're not having a public hearing right now, but.
That's unfortunate.
Okay. Mr. Yates?
Yeah, real quickly, I did just want to say I spoke a little bit at this to the effect of I understand that there's already penalties that are assessed, and it sounds as though the seller needs to pay those. However, I did say, speaking only for myself, that if the new owner came to us with some version of a development agreement that said that we could get this turned into an habitable structure within a reasonable amount of time, I felt like I would be of the opinion that I would be flexible to help with some of those past assessments. That's why I was just making that case that maybe that could be passed on to the new owner. Don't know, but that was my opinion.
Right. Yep. And I agree. There's some flexibility there, but if there's a pending sale, that kind of changes everything. I don't know where to go from here. Mr. Johnson?
I absolutely agree with Councilman Yeager, and it's happened in the past where assessments weren't handled at closing, like it was, something slipped through the cracks, and the new owner came to us and asked us to forgive it because they were fixing up the property had a plan, and we've forgiven them every single time. We consistently do. We're not trying to make money on assessments. We're trying to get the properties up to code and fixed. So with that, I do support taking action on our motion to do nothing.
You. Any more discussion? Seeing none, Tony, please call the roll.
Bevins?
Yes.
Chezak?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Stunek?
Yes.
Yeager?
Yep.
Erickson?
Yes.
O'Day?
Yes, that motion carries. Chairman Erickson?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. This is our 6th item, proposal for professional services agreement with SEH. A motion coming out of committee is to recommend approval of SEH's proposal in an amount not to exceed $40,000 and authorization to execute a professional services agreement with SEH, and I so move.
Second.
Motion by Erickson, second by Chezak. Chairman Erickson?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. Just gonna note, and then I may ask Public Utilities Director Sandy to weigh in if I might. But we're currently utilizing a combination of both legacy standard details and technical specifications to guide the design and construction of public infrastructure. And as Mr. Sandy brought up to the committee, there's a way to maybe do this where we can hire SEH to standardize a lot of these and bring them up to date and up to speed. I know other communities have done this, particularly Baxter. There was a question that was brought up in committee, whether, if we were to move forward with this, would it be proprietary or would it be public information? And so, Mr. President, if it's all right, I might ask Mr. Sandy to elaborate as he did in committee.
Andy?
Thank you, Mr. President. So this is an item that when I got hired with the city back in November, something that was a priority of mine, and it's a process when I actually worked for SEH that we worked through with the city of Baxter, and that was to basically create a document that had all of the city standard details and specifications, and that document can be used for all of our city projects. So it was a document that was not only a hard copy PDF, but it was also all the CAD, AutoCAD design files. It's a document that we can use as city staff when we're developing public works projects. It can be handed over to consultant engineers when they're designing projects for us, and it can be handed to developers as they're moving through the process of developing infrastructure that's going to be turned over to the city in the future. A good example of where this could have been helpful to have this standardized set of documents is the recent Keepers project. During the initial phases of that project, we were going through and giving them all of our standard details, and a lot of that is just pulling standard cross sections from old plan sets, grabbing details that haven't had a lot of updates to them in many, many years. Lift station design standards where you're grabbing multiple different specifications from either a vendor or from a legacy project that was built 20 years ago, where it's not consistent across the board on all of our public works projects. What this document is a full set of public works details, so all the infrastructure that's put in the ground in a standardized format, and the specifications, the technical specifications on how it gets built. What it does for city staff is when we hand that over, say, to a consultant engineer at the onset of a project, we would be able to say, here's all of our standards for this project. Please use them. And if you have questions on project-specific things that need changing, then we know that maybe the standard isn't being followed exactly, but for most, if not all cases, the standard detail is going to prevail. This is something that's pretty standard across the industry for cities to have. A lot of larger communities already have these in place. The city's never really gone through a formal process in compiling all of our details from traffic to sanitary sewer, water main, all these things that come about in a public works project, get them in one document that we can hand, for example, to a developer during project development and say, here's all the city standards for you. To help them in that design process. It'll reduce staff time substantially when we're going through review of these projects, not only the consultant projects, but even developer projects. I see it as a huge efficiency for staff. I saw it when I was in the consultant field. Having a standard set of details is a very nice thing to have if we're having consultant-led projects or developers come into town that are looking for our standards on a regular basis. So it's something I brought forward to see the BPU Commission. I brought this forward to them at the March meeting. They did approve the use of $15,000 of their water main and lift station funds to fund this project. We have a proposal in the agenda request to split this kind of three ways on the city side. It would be the construction fund, the sanitary sewer fund, and the stormwater fund. So it kind of covers all three of those city designated funding sources. So from a city side, it would be $25,000 that we would like to allocate towards this project. It is not budgeted for based on the conversation tonight. It's just something that I saw maybe an efficiency that we can gain across all of our departments to help standardize all of our construction details and specs. So up for council consideration or questions.
Thank you, Mr. Sandy. Any questions from council?
No questions, one comment. I fully support this, and I thank Paul for working on it and bringing it forward as one of the things he actually mentioned that he wanted to see happen in the city of Brainerd in his job interview, and I'm glad to see it happen so soon. So thank you, Paul. Good job.
Good. Yeah, I think anything that's going to streamline and make it more efficient for developers and our staff at the same time, it's going to pay off in the long run. So I don't know if you have any math ready for us to show us how much money we're going to save by spending this money, but that would be even better. But
It's SP&W.
What's that?
This is SP&W.
Yeah, I know. This is SPW. We don't save money here. Any more questions, discussion? Seeing none, Tony, call the roll.
Bevins?
Yes.
Chesak?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Stunek?
Yes.
Yeager?
Yes.
Erickson?
Yes.
O'Day?
Yes, that motion carries. Chairman Erickson.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. This is our last item, special event application. So this is an item that Mr. Councilman Stunek brought to my attention. Motion coming out of committee. Well, I apologize. I didn't have this one up here. This is the one that was added afterwards. The motion coming out of committee is to approve their permit, and I so move.
Second.
Motion by Erickson, second by Chesak.
Thank you. I apologize. I got out a little ahead of myself there. Councilman Stunek had brought this to my attention and asked if this could be added to the SPW agenda. For years, the American Legion has hosted the sports boosters on Thursday mornings, and several volunteers have set cones out in front of the American Legion to accommodate the veterans who attend. As Councilman Stunek pointed out, many of them are Purple Heart recipients, and I think technically setting the cones out there sounds like it might violate the city code, and so somebody had said something and prompted their application for this, and so I thought it was a worthy endeavor, and I wanted to see it on the agenda, and so we had some discussion on it, and ultimately voted to make that recommendation. Obviously to approve the permit. Councilman Stunek, I know you spoke at committee. Did you want to? You brought this to my attention, so did you want to speak to this as well?
I'm good. I'd say the same thing I said 2 hours ago.
2 hours.
All right. Any more discussion? Seeing none, let's go to a vote. Tony, call the roll.
Bevins?
Yes.
Chesak?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Stunek?
Yes.
Yeager?
Yes.
Erickson?
Yes.
O'Day?
Yes, that motion carries. Chairman Erickson.
End of report. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman Erickson. We made it through Safety and Public Works, but don't worry, we have another committee,
Yeah, but don't blink, 'cause we'll be
Personnel and
done.
Finance.
Thank you, Mr. President. It is 9:15 on April 6th.
Still April 6th, though.
The motion is a retirement of the Business Office Supervisor, Jana Pernula. And the motion is to accept the retirement of Business Office Supervisor Jana Pernula effective August 7th, 2026, to approve the updated Business Office Supervisor job description as presented, and to authorize staff to conduct an external hiring process to backfill the position, and I so move.
Second.
Motion by Johnson, second by Stunek. Johnson?
Jana's worked here for 32 years, so we really appreciate all of the service she put in for us. We appreciate that she gave us a early notice on her retirement for August 7th, so we'll be able to get somebody in place and cross-train with her for a month or so before she's gone.
Very good. Any discussion?
Is this budgeted?
Yes.
It's enterprise funds.
Tony, call the roll.
Bevins?
Yes.
Chesak?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Stunek?
Yes.
Yeager?
Yes.
Erickson?
Yes.
O'Day?
Yes. Chairman Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. President. Next up is a resolution to amend the DLP Investments Redevelopment Agreement. And the motion out of committee is a motion adopting the attached resolution approving the First Amendment to contract for private redevelopment with DLP Investments LLC, and I so move.
Second.
Motion by Johnson, second by Bevins. Johnson?
This amendment is coming back to us. We already discussed it as a council, and it's something we are interested in. It just widens the broad range of businesses that can operate in that former Royal Tire operation.
Thank you, Chairman Johnson. More discussion? Seeing none, let's go to a vote. Tony, call the roll.
Bevins?
Yes.
Chesak?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Stunek?
Yes.
Yeager?
Yes.
Erickson?
Yes.
O'Day?
Yes. Motion carries. Chairman Johnson?
Thank you, Mr. President. The final item is a request for Parks Long-Term Maintenance Fund to epoxy some floor coatings. And the motion is to approve $14,786.60 from the Parks Long-Term Maintenance Funds for the epoxy floor coatings on the 5 facilities listed: Memorial Park, Lyman P. White Park, Lyons, Kiwanis, and J.C. Park. And I so move.
Second.
Motion by Johnson, second by Stunek. Johnson?
This is something staff identified as something that should be done just to maintain the longevity of the floors. And the park board, without having the money in their budget, has requested to have us transfer money from the park's long-term maintenance funds that we've been setting money aside to for years. And I think it's a very good use of the money. So we unanimously approved it in committee.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor?
Yeah, speaking on behalf of the Park Board, I want to thank you for the consideration on it. 2 items. One, it is bathrooms and concessions. Concessions needed in order to operate, obviously. Bathrooms is an interesting one. We have cement bathroom floors. I don't know if you know this or not, but sometimes things leak onto floors, and cement likes to absorb them. So this is a nice way of keeping our floors fresh and clean and not having a wonderful smell that may acquire. But I will also say, because we're saving money here, potentially, we were approached at the beginning of this process by a local business that wanted to, specifically the Lyman P. White one, wanted to sponsor those bathroom floors. And so I would just like to say that, I don't know if you see that or not, it's only $1,960, but there's potential there to save a little bit of money here in the city of Brainerd by having a nice sponsor saying, hey, look at these floors, they're nice. That's because of me.
Thank you, Mayor Bordeaux. Anybody else? Tony?
Bevins?
Yes.
Chesak?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Stunek?
Yep.
Yeager?
Yes.
Erickson?
Yes.
O'Day?
Yes. Motion carries. Chairman Johnson?
9:19, including the minute 45 seconds the mayor spoke. End of report.
Very good. Very efficient. Moving on to number 9, unfinished business. First, 9A, we have a resignation of Jeremy Powell from the Planning Commission and declaring vacancy expiring 2027. Looking for a motion?
Move to accept with regret.
Second.
Motion by Johnson, second by Stunek. Any discussion? Seeing none, let's go to a vote. Tony?
Bevins?
Yes.
Chesak?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Stunek?
Yes.
Yeager?
Yes.
Erickson?
Yes.
O'Day?
Yes. Next up is 9B. This is a call for applicants, and first up we have the Honorable Mayor Bordeaux.
Yeah, I'll make this super quick because everybody wants to get out of here. So the following applications are available for commissions and boards in the city. Charter Commission, 2 terms expiring 2029, 2 terms expiring 2026. Economic Development Authority, 1 term expiring 2028, 1 term expiring 2031. My gosh. Library Board, 1 term expiring 2027, and the Transportation Advisory Committee, 1 term expiring 2026, 1 term expiring, 2 terms expiring 2027.
As Council President, I have 1 term open on the Airport Commission expiring 2028, 2 terms now on the Planning Commission, 1 expiring 2027, 1 expiring 2028, and 2 terms open on the Water Tower Committee. Next up, we have 9C. This is the YMCA Community Pool Funding, and I believe this one is Connie Hillman.
Thank you, Council President. At the February 17th council meeting, the council authorized staff to enter into agreement with Baker Tilly to perform a financial analysis for the proposed YMCA community pool. The analysis was to identify bonds that could be issued to fund the pool. The report from Baker Tilly was included in the packet, and the city could issue tax-exempt general obligation tax abatement bonds. Ms. Chris Hogan from Baker Tilly is online to be able to answer any questions as well. The city will not own or operate the pool. This will be done by the Y, and the city residents would be able to use the pool at a discounted fee. Since there is not a revenue source to offset the annual debt payment, the total amount would need to be part of the annual debt levy. So included in the packet was an estimated impact to the 2026 levy using various terms for the bonds and assumed interest rate. So now I'll turn it over to Chris Hogan. I did miss a fee that is associated with issuing these bonds, if she would like to address that as well.
Yeah. Thank you, Connie. Thank you, Chair and members of the council. Just a quick introduction. Chris Hogan for Baker Tilly. I serve the city as their municipal advisor. And like Connie said, we were engaged to provide some analysis on project funding analysis for the YMCA pool. As Connie said again, that YMCA has approached the city to provide financing for $4 million. So the packet that you have, goes over some of the facts that Connie has already outlined. I did consult with the city's bond attorney on some of this. So you can issue tax-exempt general obligation bonds. They would be general obligation tax abatement bonds. And they would be a 501c3 because of the Y. One thing that I noted in here under C qualified 501c3 is the cost of issuance is limited to 2% of the proceeds of the bonds. So preliminary estimates, I didn't put numbers in here, but preliminary estimates on a bond issue would likely require the city to come up with upfront cost of issuance from anywhere from $18,000 to $25,000. So that's estimating at over 2% cost of issuance. And then I just go into the tax abatement process. Generally, you have to hold a public hearing, you identify tax abatement. You identify properties that you're gonna abate to pay the debt service, and just some other things to consider. Tax abatement bonds do not count towards the city's legal debt limit. And we did just look at any impact that this type of bond issue and this amount would have on the city's S&P rating, and we did not see any pressure or anything that would impact the city's current S&P rating at AA-. And with that, I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Chris. Does anybody have questions for staff or for Chris Hogan?
Yeah, I have a question, Chris. I read your document, and it says we can use tax abatement bonding, which is nice. That was one of the questions we had. Another question is, what would it cost? Did you do the analysis on what the impacts on the tax rate would be? I'm not seeing that under Baker Tilly letterhead anywhere.
I did not do the tax impact. I did provide, I did work with Connie to put together an estimate for a 10 and 15 and 20 year debt service financing. So, I have that available if you want to know estimated interest cost and average levy. I have that information, but I did not do a tax impact, which I'm happy to follow up with.
Yeah, and the tax impact is, I would really have liked to seen the debt service and the interest and kind of the amortization schedule of it all. I was really expecting that, and I didn't receive that in my packet, so I'm a little disappointed.
If you have questions, I can provide some answers on that, and I apologize that they weren't in the packet, but.
Yeah, I guess the first question is, what interest rates did you assume by each year?
Okay, so I assumed current rates. So current market rates without any padding. I was looking at a 20-year estimate would be like 4.15 true interest cost. A 15-year, we're looking at 3.8 true interest cost, and a 10-year at 3.4. And those are really pretty accurate. In fact, we had a bond sale just today that was a 20-year general obligation and the same rating of the city, and their 20-year amortization true interest cost was a little over 4.1
Okay, and tax abatement and general obligation tend to get the same interest rates?
Well, the tax abatement bonds that we're proposing can have the general obligation pledge of the city. So yes, we've assumed general obligation versus a revenue.
Okay, thank
Straight
you.
revenue.
That's all I have, Mike.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Anybody else have questions for our staff or for Chris? If not, I did speak with Shane Riffle earlier today. I told him he could come up and speak to us for a couple minutes. And Shane, I see you over there, if you want to come up. Thank you, Chris, for the information tonight, but just stick around if you would.
Yep, happy to.
And Shane, I know shorter is sweeter tonight.
For sure. This is past my bedtime. Mr. Mayor, council members, thank you for having me back again. I've had, a little bit of time to review these numbers, and I think what I mainly want to say is this is a big number, and I get that, but this is also big for the city of Brainerd. I think listening to what people have said in the comments, I think I talked to Tad at one point about some other funding that the city puts to nonprofits. And I think this is just a little bit different. We work with the Parks and Recreation Board, and we provide sports, and we do a lot of work in the parks. The way I see this is the city is getting a brand new park for all of the residents. And it's going to be something that's brand new. It's an investment. It's going to be on the corner of 6th and Oak, right there with the Brainerd City logo on it. It's a generational investment that, the two times that I've been up here before, I've talked about the mission impact. But this is also an investment in the city and the business. This is going to spur business development. It's going to help us just revitalize and make Brainerd even better. So I'm fumbling at my words. I'm just so passionate about this. I hope that you truly consider this as an investment. And do you have any questions? I know that I've sent emails out with different bits of information on how you can look at this. So please, any questions?
Anybody from council have questions?
Several.
Okay. Mr. Chesak?
Yeah, it's nice to see you, Shane.
You too, Mr. Chesak.
You've heard me speak before on this, and I really struggle with this, especially based on some of our conversation here earlier about over budgets and that. And one thing about parks, Shane, is I think it was either 23 or 24. This council had a lot of compliment for our park board. Highly complimentary of the work they've done, the amount of infrastructure and progress they've made on the existing parks. But one thing we said, we want to see you keep what we have and stop putting more money to improving and developing them. And you came just now and said, this is just like another park. And I thought, oh my gosh, just what we asked the park board not to do. And you're coming forward with a $4 million request to essentially give us another park. And I got to ask you first off, how do you propose to give residents a discount?
Could happen a number of different ways. I've referenced that there are a number of similar projects across the country. My closest reference would be the city of Boise, Idaho, where residents in a specifically defined geographic area have a pool pass fee, which is significantly lower than someone outside of that residence area would pay to come inside the Y. I also propose that they would have discounts in program fees and also a discount to any joining fees that may be incurred to anyone outside of the area. I'm also open to other suggestions.
What do they do to show residency?
Address.
Oh, there's more addresses, I believe, with a Brainerd, Minnesota address that are not in the city limits of Brainerd than are in the city limits of Brainerd.
Right, I believe a detail that we could probably work out on a map of some nature that staff use when they're applying that.
Okay, that was troubling for me because this happened a long time ago when we developed our local option sales tax, and businesses outside of the city limits of Brainerd getting charged for their local option sales tax, and it just didn't work good, but you got to figure it out. So I would hope that would happen. Anyway, we have a project, and I don't know if anybody on this council has seen the scope of this project, and I think we would never, as a city, move forward on a project without knowing more about it than just saying, $4 million to do a aquatic center. Can you tell me the size of this pool that you're proposing?
Right now, it's a 6-lane, 25-yard pool with about a 20 by 40. I don't have the plans in front of me, but yes, we do have schematic designs for the aquatic center.
Can you tell me some of the other amenities associated with the aquatic center? Do you have?
There's a splash amenity. It's a zero-depth pool, warm water in the I believe it's like 20-foot by 40-foot, kind of a therapy-type pool. And then we're also looking at putting a sauna in the aquatic area.
Hot tub?
No hot tub.
Diving board, diving platform?
No, sir.
None of that, okay.
So, whirlpools are,
Yeah.
they're difficult to maintain.
So are pools.
Well, not as difficult as a whirlpool or hot tub.
They're all expensive. Anyway, so these are, some of my concerns. I look at, I struggle. I go, we have a fitness center or two in the city limits of Brainerd, and we're going to be asking those people to pay their tax dollars for something that essentially is competitive with them. That bothers me. I just had a couple of questions here. Do you have firm commitments right now on this 30 to 34 million that you're looking for?
No.
Nothing
I
at all?
have a $7 million ask that's just been submitted to Sourcewell. We are, as I mentioned last time, there were new markets tax credits, and we were written into about 6 different applications, and we have a fundraising committee that is working on the remaining parts of the funding stack. Yeah, I think that there are a lot of details, as you reference, and I would support taking the time to work through those details. I think to be honest, I was surprised. I'm not familiar with this process. I run a YMCA. I don't know the process on what a council would use to make a big decision like this. As I mentioned, I get the scale of this. I looked at this number, but when I broke it down and I think about the kids in our community and the families in our community, really, as those numbers show, it's $4 to $6 a month. And if those families come in and swim, they're going to be saving that money either through the joining fee if they join or if they come in and swim. So I just know that the community loves the YMCA and we'll get behind this.
Yeah, I love the Y too, but I also have to look out for my taxpayers.
I get you. I understand.
Yeah, and so
Can we take the time to work through more of the details? Is that an option?
What other features are you going to be exploring to develop at this new Y? Are you going to have handball, racquetball courts?
The schematic design right now, it's a 2-level structure. We are going to have intergenerational space. We're going to expand on daycare. We plan on putting
Racquetball, handball, anything like that? Right.
not racquetball, not handball, but there will be space for pickleball.
Pickleball, okay.
Court space for youth sports,
court?
pickleball, basketball.
Okay.
Yes, indoor walking track we're looking at. The specific to the Sourcewell request, we're going to allocate space to offer community resource center functions, working with partners. I know you referenced Lighthouse Beginnings, and they are one of our potential partners to work out of that space. Also, traditional to what YMCA is known for, fitness classes, chronic disease management classes, National Diabetes Prevention Program, cancer survivorship programs. Like I said, the daycare center, drop-off child watch. I do have our board chair, Warren Larson, over there. What am I missing, Warren? Anything?
Well, if I could, I mean, would you agree that most, or not all, 501c3s are good, they have good intentions and do good work here in the Brainerd area? As far as you know.
That is the intent of awarding a 501c3, is that you do work that benefits the community, yes.
Okay, and so I got to reference what Mr. Erickson said the last time this came up at our council meeting. He talked about not wanting to be in a position to pick the winners and losers when it comes to supporting 501c3s. And I agree with that wholeheartedly. And it was amazing to me at the time he was saying it. I had heard that before, and I was trying to think about when and where it was. And here was my colleague sitting next to me, Kevin Yeager, when we sat on the Charter Commission talking about the Arboretum. He said those exact words. I thought Mr. Erickson was plagiarizing him. Not that I'm accusing him of that, it's just I was like, that's where I heard it before. And it's amazing how the 52, 51, whatever $1 million economic impact coming to us from the University of Minnesota Extension, over what period of time is that?
Offhand, I couldn't tell you. I would have to look into the report.
So we see that number over and over again, but you don't know over what period of time. It's certainly, you're not expecting that to be in the first
So
year.
there's direct, indirect, and induced benefits. There is job creation, it's supporting ongoing jobs. It's the initial construction, which is short-term, all of the labor and materials that go into that construction. But it's also what they're incorporating, I believe, through their term induced, is the business development. When you have a facility like that, more people are going to come into town, and through I think it's Placer AI and tools like that, you can see that people, when they do come in, they spend money. They go out, they shop, they eat, and they spend money. So that, I believe, is what they call induced, and that would be ongoing.
Okay. I guess somebody put together some numbers, said you're going to see a $52 million impact in economic development and all that, and you don't know how many years it is. That bothers me. And then we see the...
Well, I believe I just answered somewhat of that.
Well, you don't. You really don't. The 21, I think it is, you say, is related to construction and other increase in perhaps employee and that type of thing. So you had two different figures there. You're seeking out letters of support from businesses that I know you had sent out one here on Wednesday. That was a little short notice, I would say, to get something on in front of us. And you had how many templates did you send out, would you say?
Typically, it was something like that. You send out talking points that they can use to structure, but the intent is that they're formally submitting their support for the project.
Yeah, we did get, I think, 4 of them, and
Right.
I noticed 3 of those were from, for sure, Baxter businesses. And again, we were talking about Brainerd taxpayers supporting us. Is Anderson Brothers, are they within the city limits of Brainerd still? Does anybody know that?
Yes.
Yeah, they're okay. Okay, so that was one that was in the city limits of Brainerd. So when I look at those letters, Shane, it's like, okay, I got to just put your letterhead, put your name, fill in the blanks, cut out this, boom, send it out. That's how hard it is. And you've given them templates. It's like, do they really support this, or is it just something they're doing in favor? You know, I don't know. It's just disingenuous. Okay, another question I have, this came up at the last meeting. You have not, well, first of all, do you have a policy on transgenders using the opposite sex in the showers, in the locker rooms, in the bathrooms, in the programs? Do you have any policy on that, the way?
We adhere to Minnesota statute.
What statute is that, Shane?
The Human Rights Act of 1993.
And what does it say in there?
Paraphrasing that transgenders are legally provided access to public space, including locker rooms and other such areas that it noted, based on the identity of the gender that they identify with. I can tell you that in 8 years here, this is, we've had one instance where this has been brought up, and the person who was inquiring used a mixed dressing room, private. And one of the features of the new YMCA is that we're not going to have all of the changing and shower areas are going to be private, so it really becomes a non-issue.
All of your changing and locker rooms are going to be private.
They will be.
Okay, so it becomes a non-issue. So what about the programming then? When we have a a boy that wants to participate with girls. You said you didn't know. Have you made a decision on that yet? Are you going to follow the non-existent statute, as you called it, and go with the Human Rights Act? That is not supported other than by the Minnesota State High School League and our Attorney General. It is not a law.
As the YMCA CEO, we are legally obliged to follow
Do you
the
know
law.
that as a Christian organization, you can exempt yourself from that?
We're the Young Men's Christian Association, yes. No, I am not aware of that. If there
Would you be
are...
willing to do that, Shane? Exempt yourself from that so-called statute, that Human Rights Act?
Mr. President, this is so far.
We're talking about $4 million here, Gabe, and I have the floor. Thank you. What would you do, Shane? Would you try to
I'm not going to answer that question, Mr. Chezak.
Would you follow the
Sorry.
Human Rights Act, or as you interpret it, or would you want to exempt yourself from that? I can tell you there's a lot of people in this city, if we gave you $4 million and you were not pushing back on that, I'd be hung from the trees.
I'm not going to answer that question, Mr. Chezak.
I didn't think you would, Shane. That's all. That's an answer. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Chezak.
I believe Gabe had his hand up first. I'm sorry, Mr. Chair.
Thank you,
Johnson.
Mr. President. Thank you, Councilman Yeager. I mean, the questions regarding this issue made a lot of sense, and I think this is one of those rare situations where the speed of government may have worked faster than the speed of the private sector. Like, all of the funding sources aren't lined up. We don't need to be the first ones on the board. We're not quite certain exactly what the discounts and how the payback to the citizens who are paying their taxes are, what it's going to look like. So I don't think an up or down vote, because I have huge sticker shock on this. This is expensive. This is a lot of money. But if we can clearly identify what the building is going to look like, what the benefits to the citizens of Brainerd are going to be, and what possible cost sharing or anything related to this construction project and this financing, I would like to further explore that and not necessarily make a decision tonight. It will be hard to get there, with the cheapest option being a 4.15% tax increase. It will be hard to get there. But I would like to explore what we can do working together, Shane. And I don't think we take action and we move forward working with the YMCA on what it looks like. And I move such.
Second.
Okay, motion by Johnson and second by Stunek. I know, Mr. Yeager, do you have?
Yeah, thank you. I don't know if you noticed, Shane, but one of the options was conduit debt. How does that land on you? Just quick off the cuff. Is that a help? Is that something that is a leverage point? I mean, is it?
At face value, it didn't seem like it would help right now.
Understood. You're just trying to move the lever from one side to another. Understood. And so I
We
guess
need and want a partner of this nature, what I've been calling an anchor partner. Like I said, we've been in Brainerd since 1889. We're committed to this community, and this is the point where the community and you as representatives of the community can help do something that's big, that's going to make the lives of kids and families better. And then there's this other benefit. It is going to make business better in the community. I don't think the University of Minnesota, I'm pretty sure they have a pretty high reputation, and I stand by that study. I hope that we can take the time to further explore this. The why, looking into the future, without this project, we're in a building that was developed and built in 1967. And the problem, Mr. Chezak, that you're addressing is today's problem, that pertains to a building that was built, 60 years ago. The new building, it's moot. It's not even going to be a problem.
All right. Thank you, Shane.
I'll speak to the motion. The motion's on the table, right?
Let's try to keep everything to the motion.
Yeah, okay, so I support this project. I sticker shock on the number, but I do think it's worth exploring and moving forward. Shane is not coming to us tonight saying, I need an up or down, yes or no. It was put on the agenda by somebody saying up or down, yes or no, but that's not necessarily what we need to do, and I don't think we should. I think we should take a step back and continue working with Shane on this.
Yeah. Mr. Bevins.
I support the motion. I'd love to know more. I'm actually kind of excited about participating in a project like this, but I would like to know more. I haven't heard and Mr. Johnson just alluded to this, is there a timing? So I think somebody even brought up a referendum last meeting, but as far as the construction, do we have a goal?
There's somewhat time sensitivity with the new market tax credits. The applications were from this last funding cycle, so it's end of this year, early into next year, that we would need a significant amount of the funding pledged, not necessarily in hand or, but secured enough that we could go find, financing through a bank or banks.
Got it. So we have a little time.
Yes.
Mr. President?
Mr. Mayor, and then Mr.
Yeah, I just want, did we get clarification on referendum at all? On what the time frame would be for that? Does anyone know? If we were to put this to referendum?
I do believe it's May or June that
May
we'd
or
have to have
June.
the question drafted.
Of May, beginning of June?
Let's get that
I'm
answered.
guessing.
Yeah, we should probably know that. Okay.
Thank you. Mr. Erickson?
Thank you, Mr. President. Two things. First, I apologize. Can I have someone clarify the motion?
The motion is to not make a decision tonight and continue working with the YMCA to hash out the details of what this would look like.
Okay. Thank you very much. And then, Mr. President, I did have a couple of comments, and I obviously will keep them brief, but I guess I just wanted to say I spent the earlier part of this meeting getting beat up over recommending guardrail repairs and cost overruns to sanitary sewer lining and cost overruns to fire stations. And I just have a hard time, justifying, with the types of infrastructure and maintenance needs that we're foreseeing and that we are seeing. And I think Mr. Riffle, Shane, thanks for reaching out to me earlier in the week. And I know we got a motion on the table here, but we had a really nice conversation, and I was able to share with him my thoughts on the project and the proposal. Many of which I've shared before, so I will, for sake of brevity, I will omit that. But I'm glad to hear others talking about the potential for the referendum. I'm curious to hear the answer about the timeliness of that as well. I did mention to Shane that that's something I'd be open and interested in exploring. So I've stated some of my reasons, and I'm going to vote against the motion. As I have in the past on the bonding thing as well. So, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Erickson. I'm going to support the motion. I'm interested to see other creative ways that we can help the Y. I want to see the project happen. I agree. It's sticker shock. It's expensive, especially in a year when we're going to rebuild the fire hall. It's two very expensive issues going on at once. But I think if we continue down this road, at least talking about getting creative. I don't know if we get to the same number in the end or in-kind types of things that the city can provide, but I think it's worth continuing the discussion, at least for now, and moving forward on that. So,
Mr. President, I do one quick thing.
Mr. Chesak.
Yeah. I don't understand the term sticker shock. It's never, the number is $4 million. That has not changed. What did you expect?
I'm talking about the increase, the 6.66, 4.94, 4.15. Those are all the numbers that we don't want to see right now before we get to the other things that we don't even choose.
I guess that's my point. It's the increase of the percentage of our levy. Is that what you're referring to?
Correct.
Yeah, and then what did you expect again? Well, that's $4 million. We got to pay for it. We're going to come in here with some sort of discount. Anyway, that's all I got.
Thank you, Mr. Chesak.
Mr. Chair, does the Y pay property tax?
No.
No. Thank you.
Tony, please call the roll.
Bevins?
Yes.
Chesak?
No.
Johnson?
Yes.
Stunek?
Yes.
Yeager?
Yes.
Erickson?
No.
O'Day?
Yes. Motion carries. Next up, we have, thank you, Shane. Next up, we have 9D. This is an annexation discussion for Riverside Drive, and I believe this is Mr. Kramvik.
Thank you, Mr. President. So at the March 2nd City Council meeting, City Council approved the joint resolution by a 4-3 vote to designate an area for orderly annexation. The County Board considered the joint resolution at the March 24th County Board meeting. The board allowed public testimony and motion to not approve the joint resolution. The county board unanimously approved that motion. Staff are bringing back consideration of annexation to the city council. City council may consider the following options. Option 1, motion to direct staff to work with the city attorney on a contested annexation. Option 2, motion to direct staff to amend the orderly annexation agreement with the following annexation eligibility. Property owner initiated annexation, each separately defined parcel within the OAA shall become eligible for annexation by property owner petition if the parcel abuts the city's municipal boundary line. This method would be used to annex properties that would like to connect to municipal utilities. It would be optional to connect or not connect for the property owners. The other one would be city-initiated annexation. At any time, the city may initiate annexation of a parcel or parcels within the OAA that are connected to public utilities, defined to mean sanitary, sewer, or water. So with that, or the third option would be take no action, essentially ending the process at this time. Staff does recommend option 2 as it will be an easier process for properties that wish to connect or are connected to municipal utilities to annex into the city. With an orderly annexation agreement in place, the city, without it, the city essentially would have to annex each property owner with an orderly annexation agreement with the county. With the orderly annexation agreement in place, city council could simply pass a resolution to annex the properties into the city. Before a decision, I'll turn it over to Jesse.
We just wanted to highlight one item that came up multiple times, both with the public meeting testimonies as well as the one-on-one discussions with staff and property owners, was the concern on the amount of the connection charge as is currently. So something the council could consider to revisit if you so choose would be looking at this amount and reviewing a potential revised orderly annexation agreement to provide some clarity to those property owners that have been requesting the detail. That's all I have to add.
Thank you, gentlemen. Anybody have questions for staff? Mr. Johnson, you have a motion?
I'd move to direct staff to amend the orderly annexation agreement with the following annexation eligibility. Property owner initiated, blah, 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 city initiated annexation. Exactly what option 2 is in our packet.
Second.
So moved.
Motion by Johnson, second by Chesak. Discussion? Johnson?
I mean, ultimately, this is how I saw that original agreement working, is that we wouldn't be annexing until people were hooking up or wanted to hook up. So this is doing that. So I think it's a perfectly fine agreement. I think if we go back to the county and explain to them our needs, that we do have people outside of the city limits. We have multiple hooked up to our water and sewer system right now, and we don't allow that. Those people need to get in the city. I think the county board would have some understanding of our problems there.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. I'm going to have to agree. I do think this is the time, and we've mentioned this before, and it's written in the memo. The 17,287,000 might as well be $17 million. If it were me, I wouldn't want to pay it either. So I understand that's what's part of what's keeping people back, wanting to be hooked up. I think the time for having that conversation is after that first proposal didn't pass through the county. We tried. 4-3, it came here, and it was 5-0 there against. So now we have to change something, in my mind. I know there's people that have had to pay more in the past, so it's not fair. And life isn't fair. But I think that is something that we need to address eventually. We don't have to do it on this motion. I support the motion going forward. Everybody can still choose not to annex. Everybody can choose not to hook up. But when it comes down to the decision of wanting to hook up, that's the time you annex. I think it's pretty fair. So I'll support the motion. If anybody has more discussion, raise your hand. Mr. Chesak?
Question, how does this change, and I'm in favor of it, but how does this change what currently exists today, if that could just be clarified? The way we have things, I get this, maybe I'm confused with the, somebody petitioning to be annexed.
Mr. Kramick?
What's the difference?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. So currently, if you are next to municipal utilities, it is a tougher statutory process to annex rather than under a different subdivision. It takes considerably longer. County can potentially oppose it. When we went through this with Dunmire's, municipal judge had recommended orderly annexation process for each individual property owner, which would have to be done in this instance if we don't have an orderly annexation agreement for the entire area.
Thank you.
So it
Mr.
really
President.
streamlines everything for both our staff and for the person annexing.
That's
Mr. Erickson?
Very good. Yep.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. I just had a few comments. You know, as I've fielded calls and responded to emails, you know, I've kind of explained my position, and, you know, I supported this previously. And I just shared with folks that, you know, I think from a city perspective, you know, we've obviously got a patchwork of those in city, out of city. And I think from a city and an administrative standpoint, it makes sense. And as a representative of Brainerd, I, you know, was acting in the city's interest in supporting that. And, you know, obviously talking with staff, hearing the, from the residents in the unincorporated area, you know, and watching the county meetings, it's clear that, you know, I think I'm not necessarily in favor of supporting either of the options at this point. I think that, you know, and the folks that I have talked to, even in, you know, my own neighborhood in South Brainerd, the residents of Brainerd, I think, you know, they're kind of the opinion of, you know, let these folks well enough alone. So I guess I don't have an appetite at this point of pursuing this further. So I'm going to not support the motion.
Thank you, Chairman Erickson. Anybody else? Seeing no more discussion. Tony, please call the roll.
Bevins?
Yes.
Chesak?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Stunek?
No.
Yeager?
No.
Erickson?
No.
O'Day?
Yes. Motion carries 4-3.
I think it failed.
Carried.
Okay, I'm sorry.
All right, that does it for unfinished business. Moving on, number 10, new business. 10A, we have a public hearing and resolution for 2026 through 2030 capital improvement plan. I believe this would be Connie?
Yes, thank you.
We want to give.
So staff has been working on the spring bond issue.
Hang on a second, Connie. We could just give these people a minute or two to clear out.
We're sprinting to the bathroom.
I already did.
We're gonna cruise right through all this stuff. Okay. We'll take a 3-minute break.
Second floor.
Sorry about that, Connie. We just lost half our council for a couple minutes, so we'll take a few minutes of a break here. Reconvene at 10:03.
Double
I didn't realize that
Are we on 10?
David Kelly still smoked.
It's almost 11 o'clock where I'm at. I don't know what you guys are complaining about.
Huh? I don't quack.
Are you talking about this tonight? The resurfacing?
Yes, I believe that's the next one.
Okay.
Which one we on?
Oh, it would be the following one.
Okay.
10B.
We get the news on this one.
We'll eventually get there.
How long is the closed session gonna be? Huh?
It'll be up to you guys if any questions you have.
I've been contacted.
Oh, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Got a headache.
You do? From tonight?
I just think I need more water. In fact, I'm gonna go get a water.
My office.
Nick?
I got a case.
But you'll never see me without one.
Watching the basketball game. Yeah. Looked at an update. I don't know anything. I got a friend who said was a score right after the game. Oh, really? Other than that, I really don't care. My pool's been busted. I look better.
Well, thank you. And I almost thought I had peaked.
Pool coming off?
It was a little toasty. Oh, boy. Smoke break.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I didn't think they'd go quite this.
It's, he shared his discount structure with me, and I don't think there's any payback there. Like, it has to be more. The YMCA has to give the city more to make up for that over the course of a generation.
Well, or the other argument is, it's worth it. And if you don't think that,
Well, I think it's worth it. I need 4 votes. I would have voted yes right tonight.
I would have too. But you don't think you had 4. I don't know.
What days still left?
Who do you think the other 2 are?
Jeff and Ted. No.
Correct. So who do you think the other 2 are? It's got to be Jaeger and O'Day or Jaeger. Yes, so that's O'Day. So now you know how to fix this if you want it to go through. You gotta find.
And what they want.
The hard thing is that it does cost money.
But if we don't do it now, it's going to be
Yeah, but you don't ever have to do it. We've made it 150 years without it.
We're gonna get started again
But on the other side of the coin,
at 10:03.
whatever it costs me a month.
What day is it? Is it Tuesday?
Still the same day, Stunek. I believe we were on Connie Hillman
Yes. Thank you.
breaking this down for us.
Okay, so as, staff has been working on the spring bond issue, and as part of the debt issue, the plan is for the city to issue CIP bonds for the fire station remodel. As part of the statutory requirements to issue CIP bonds, the council will need to hold a public hearing for the capital improvement plan. Ms. Chris Hogan from Baker Tilly is online to be able to answer any questions regarding the issuance of CIP bonds in the process. The dollar amount will actually be set at a subsequent meeting for the bonds, but we do need a supermajority vote, so we need a 5-2 vote in order to issue CIP bonds. So at that, if Chris Hogan is available online, and then the recommended action is to hold the public hearing regarding the proposed capital improvement plan and the issuance of CIP bonds.
Thank you, Connie. So next step.
If there's
Hold
any
the public
questions regarding the process, otherwise we need to have the public hearing.
Okay, anybody have questions? Seeing none, we will now open the public hearing. It is 10:04. So if you're here to speak on the 2026 through 2030 capital improvement plan, including those bonds, please come forward. If you're online, press *3. Anybody on there, Max? I'll ask again. If you want to approach the council on this, please do so now.
Is that on the street improve or?
It's the whole capital improvement plan. There's a following.
It's a different item.
It's debt issuance.
Different item. Yep, there's a different item. So it looks like nobody, so we'll close the public hearing at 10:04 still. Next, we are looking for a motion to consider the adoption of the attached resolution adopting the capital improvement plan and providing preliminary approval for the issuance of general obligation bonds thereunder.
A quick question.
Yeah, go ahead, Johnson.
Mr. President, is there a timeline on when this needs to be approved?
Connie?
The timeline that we're on right now is to hold the public hearing, because it starts the 30-day referendum period. So we have to hold the public hearing and adopt the CIP plan. You don't necessarily have to adopt the resolution. So you
Okay.
need to hold
So
the
the
public
resolution
hearing.
to issue the debt can wait, hold off?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
So, but we do need a motion to adopt the capital improvement plan.
So we could have two separate motions, or we could have one motion.
Correct.
It's up to the motioner. Still waiting for a motion.
Motion to approve the capital improvement plan.
I'll second that.
Motion by Chazak, second by Bevins, just on the capital improvement plan.
Correct.
Johnson?
Yeah, you could have done it in both motions. I'm a no. This would codify me approving the plan to overspend on the fire department when we already made a motion in this exact meeting to go back to the drawing board and see if we can't get costs back down under that 5.5 and the bond issuance back down to 5.2. So I just can't support it in good faith because I don't support it.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Anybody else? Seeing no more discussion, Tony, please call the roll.
Bevins?
Yes.
Chazak?
Yes.
Johnson?
No.
Stunek?
Yes.
Yeager?
No.
Erickson?
Yes.
O'Day?
Yes. That motion carries. Next, we are,
Shot, Mr. Chair,
yeah,
to,
approve the issuance of
Yeah,
the
the
general
general
obligation
obligation
bonds thereunder.
yep.
So just to clarify, you're not setting the amount tonight. The amount can be set at a subsequent meeting.
Okay, we will set that amount in the next 30 days. Okay. Is that clear? Any discussion? Seeing none, let's go to a vote. Tony, call the roll.
Bevins?
Yes.
Chazak?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yeah.
Stunek?
Yes.
Yeager?
No.
Erickson?
Yes.
O'Day?
Yes. That motion carries.
Baby steps.
I believe that was 6-1. Okay. All right. Next up is 10B. This is a public hearing and resolution ordering improvement and ordering preparation of plans for 2026 resurfacing projects. This one is our city engineer, Jesse Dean.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll try to be quick. So for the 2026 resurfacing projects, a public hearing was called and noticed. Further, an informational meeting was held a couple weeks ago on March 26th to answer questions from residents. So at this time, staff is recommending holding the improvement hearing to hear testimony from residents, and then further to adopt the attached resolution that orders the improvement and orders preparation of the plans. Staff, as well as WSB staff, is available to answer questions from the council.
Thank you, Jesse. First off, does anybody have questions for staff? Doesn't look like it. So it's 10:08. We will open the public hearing for these improvements,
This is your turn. Just come up
2026
now.
resurfacing projects.
May I ask this?
We're in the public hearing. Come on up, sir.
Well, I'm
Just
at
introduce yourself, name and address first, please.
Robert Morris. I'm at 416 Fairfield Lane. That's
Thank
the
you.
townhomes, Fairfield townhomes.
Okay.
We were only wondering when it would take place because we're looking into, if you've ever seen Fairfield Lane, get that resurfaced or whatever. So we want to do it after you complete Spruce Drive.
Yep. So typically, public hearing is just whether or not you're for or against the project, but that's a pretty simple question, Mr. Dean, if you want to answer that.
We are planning for some time during this construction season, but until we award the project and get a schedule from the contractor, we can't nail down specifics.
And then
But
you'll
it is-
send out a letter saying
That is,
when it'll happen?
yeah,
Like
folks will
when
get
they'll
coordinated
be on
with.
Spruce Drive or Great End?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
City Engineer Dean is your point of contact for the detailed answers on your questions about the project.
Okay, thank you.
Are you happy you got to sit through the rest of the meeting for that?
Yeah.
We're here every 2 weeks.
You just won my vote for the most patient guy on the planet. On the planet.
Thank you, sir.
Well,
Anybody else?
I'm the president of the townhome, so.
Okay. Yeah, I made you do it.
Job.
Come on up.
If I could just stand, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh, I would
Oh,
have
I'm
to
sorry.
get you to the
No, no,
microphone.
No,
get up there.
No, I just wanted to be able to stand.
Yeah, that's fine,
Go
sir.
ahead.
Just name and address first, please.
Okay, my name is Steve Johnson, and the address in question is 2601 South 11th. Now, to explain where that's at, if you go down to W.W. Thompson, you take a left towards Pepsi, you'll be taking your very first right, just past the swamp. And what they're looking at, and they're calling it an improvement, when in fact, they're talking about gutter, driveways, and to resurface the road, when in fact, that's not the case. There's not a piece of 11th Street goes south, makes a little jog, and then goes down to the highway department or the city department. And the problem with the road is this. The road was built on a swamp, okay? And they want to resurface it. Understandable, it could use it. And the reason being is the city uses that road for its graders, its front-end loaders, its dump trucks, and everything else in the world. And if you were to look on a given day, who uses that street, it's the city, not the people, the residents of the street, of which there's 4 of us. It's me, Superior Fuels that just moved in next to AmeriGas, and then you got the rug people next to it. And down on the other end, you have, I think it's like Medivan or something like that. So at any rate, the city, for a while there, actually was, if you would first take a right, they were dumping the snow from when they do city cleanup. And on a street like that, that is on top of a swamp, I don't care what time of year it is. You've ridden a snowmobile across the swamp in the middle of the winter, and it's soft. Well, at any rate, so they're dumping snow, and then they got a front end loader. The north side of the street is all tore to hell, so to speak, and the rest of the street is all beat to submission. Now they're coming in saying that they would like to charge me $21,000 to resurface my section, when in fact, those are the guys that have tore the street up. And I would say, okay, fine. From now on, don't use that street because it's not able to handle what the city is beating the crap out of it. At any rate, I guess what I'm trying to say in the long and the short of it, I want to see, as time goes on, and this is going to be a little bit, but I want to see either something taken off of this bill because it's not right. And that's all I got, because it's atrocious that I would have to buy the city a new road when they actually, in a sense, have wrecked it. And I know a lot of the guys, and I wave at them every day, that work for the city, and we're friends and stuff, but as, you know, the one guy I was talking to a couple of years ago, I asked him, I said, how do you feel on that front end loader? Do you feel it porpoise when it's going down the road? Yeah, it does, doesn't it? I said, well, yeah, because the street is not able to handle what the city is putting it through. So the street is who has destroyed that street, not us, because we go there once a day and then we leave. You know, so that's all I got. Okay?
Thank you, sir.
Can I ask him a question?
Yeah.
I mean, Mike?
Yeah, that's fine, Shazak.
Thanks for your permission there. Is that your home?
No, it's a shop
Okay.
that I have, and I have my son.
Yep.
He runs a little business out of there, that's it.
Yeah, I kind of figured. I wanted to make sure though.
Yeah.
And can somebody tell me the length of this 11th Street portion that he's on south of the, what is it, the county road there, the city that goes east-west over Pepsi, 371? What's the length
And
of
what
this?
is the street rated at, by the way, for,
Excuse me, what's this, what's
Wait.
the length? What's
All
the
right.
length? What's the length of that from the,
Jeff, this is a public hearing right now.
understand, I'm just asking a question.
About a half mile.
You don't
What's
know?
that?
Not quite a half mile.
Okay,
Ah, okay, thank you.
okay. So, yeah,
Okay.
just to keep it from a debate.
thanks for your time.
Thank you. Anybody else here to address the council?
I don't have a lot of questions, but I'm Bob Palmer. I'm 1919 Birch Ridge Drive.
1919 Birch Ridge, you said Bob Palmer?
Yes.
Okay, please, if you could get close to the mic. Thank you.
I'll try to. I'm basically blind, so. Okay, well anyhow,
Are they going from, on Graydon, all the way from out on 6th, clear over to Woodcrest? Is that the whole Graydon that's getting done?
No. Jesse, city engineer Jesse Dean right there, he can talk to you about the details of what's getting done on Graydon. It's not the entire thing, I can tell you that, but he'll
Okay.
tell you exactly
Okay.
what's
And
included.
I guess I am in favor of, Spruce. I mean, that's a bad road.
Sure.
So,
Okay.
okay, well, thank you.
Thank you.
Now, are the numbers set for the letter we got?
It's a construction estimate.
It would
Correct,
be
they're
an estimate.
preliminary.
Because I think it was 2333 or something is what they,
Mr. Dean can answer a lot of those questions for you. If you want to either talk to him after the meeting or tomorrow morning. you
I can call them, no
Yep.
big deal.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else in here to address us on these projects? Or if you're online, press *3. Anybody on there, Max? Just Tad? All right.
Should be.
Looks like nobody else, so it is 10:16. We'll close the public hearing. Next, we're looking for a motion to adopt the attached resolution which orders the improvement and preparation of the plans.
Second.
Mr.
Motion by
President, so
Chesak.
move. Second.
Got a motion by Chesak, second by Bevins. And it looks like Erickson is in support. Any more discussion? No discussion? Tony, please call the roll.
Bevins?
Yes.
Chesak? Johnson?
Yes.
Stunek?
Yes.
Yeager?
Yes.
Erickson?
Yes.
O'Day?
Yes. Resolution carries. Moving on to 10C, this is a conditional use permit amendment for the dermatology clinic 1410 and 1424 TC Drive. This is James Kramvik.
Thank you, Mr. President. So River Birch Investments has requested an amendment to the original CUP for additional off-street parking spaces, as there was a miscommunication that the approved CUP allowed the applicant to exceed the maximum number of off-street parking spaces without restrictions. At the time of the original CUP application, the applicant had not yet finalized their site/civil plans for the dermatology building. Upon further review and calculations, the applicant would like to increase the amount of off-street parking to 90 total spaces to allow for staff and patient parking. Planning Commission considered this request at their meeting on March 18th and recommended approval as presented with a 4-to-1 vote, and I can answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Kramvik. Any questions for Mr. Kramvik? Thank you. Then we are looking for a motion.
So moved. Well, move to approve the CUP amendment that allows for 90 off-street parking spaces at 1410 and 1424 TC Drive, Brainerd. I so move.
Motion by Johnson, second by Chesak. Anybody want to discuss it? We're all okay? All good? Tony, call the roll.
Bevins?
Yes.
Chesak?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Stunek?
Yes.
Yeager?
Yes.
Erickson? O'Day?
Yes. Erickson went to sleep.
I'll go wake him up.
All right, that motion carries. Moving on to 10E, skipping over 10D that we already covered. So 10E, we got a conditional use permit exceeding maximum lot size at 1017 Bluff Avenue. Mr. Kramvik?
Thank you, Mr. President. So the applicant is proposing the consolidation of 3 lots into 1 parcel on Bluff Avenue to allow for the construction of a single-family home. The 3 lots will total 11,808 square feet, and the maximum allowed in the traditional neighborhood 1 zoning district is 11,250 square feet. A CUP can be requested to exceed this number. Bluff Avenue had vacated right-of-way portions many years ago that resulted in increased lot sizes in this area. I do want to note that the 3 lots could not be legally adjusted to make 2 lots. Planning Commission considered this request at their meeting on March 18th and unanimously recommended approval of the conditional use permit.
All right, thank you, Mr. Kramvik. Anybody have questions?
Real quickly, Mr. Kramvik, the picture that's in the packet, that's showing, it appears as though there's 1 parcel ID number on the highlighted lot. That's the 3 lots we're talking about?
When you look at the survey, it actually shows
Okay,
3 lots.
that's all I need, thank you.
Yeah, I looked at the same thing. It was a little confusing. I thought it was including 2
Oh,
lots.
the other 2 with homes, yeah. Nope, we're good.
Anybody else have questions?
I'm good, sorry.
Looks like no more questions.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Bevins, second by Stunek. Any discussion on that motion? Tony, call the roll.
Bevins?
Yes.
Chesak? Johnson?
Yes.
Stunek?
Yes.
Yeager?
Yes.
Erickson?
Yes.
O'Day?
Yes, motion carries. Next up, we have a variance, non-conforming side yard setback at 1513 Pennsylvania Avenue. Again, this is Mr. Kramvik.
Thank you, Mr. President. So the applicant has submitted a variance request to construct a 14 by 26 accessory structure to replace an existing 10-foot by 20 accessory structure at 1513 Pennsylvania Avenue. Property is located in a contemporary neighborhood 2 zoning district, and the side yard setback of the existing structure is 2 feet from the property line. This applicant is looking to expand the size of it, so that's the variance request. Minimum side yard setback in the CN2 zoning district is 5 feet. The applicant is requesting to maintain that existing 2-foot setback. Planning Commission considered this request at their meeting on March 18th and unanimously recommended approval of the variance with a condition of installation of gutters to direct water away from the neighboring property owner.
All right, thank you, Mr. Kramvik. Does anybody have questions for staff? Yeager?
Real quickly, Mr. Kramvik, did the conversation come up? How much is he intending to lift this site, roughly?
I can't remember that exact number, but right now the water slopes down to the garage, so he actually gets water in his garage at this time.
Understood. So my question, this sits right on the property line. So did you guys talk about the water runoff that's going to be right into the next door neighbor's yard? Is gutters?
So with the 2-foot setback and the eave overhang, that wouldn't be, probably a considerable amount. Certainly the roof runoff from the structure could be a considerable amount. Right now, there's not gutters. So I guess in my opinion, this would most likely be probably an improvement with the water runoff from the roof.
And we didn't hear anything from the next door neighbor, is that right?
Nope, he did contact the next door neighbor to make him aware of it, and he had indicated he didn't have any issues, and nobody showed up to the public hearing.
Thank you, that's all, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr.
Chair,
Yeager.
could we curb the discussion down at that end, please?
Okay, point of order. Thank you. Anything to add, Mr. Chesak?
Yes, Mr. Kramvik, I could have swore that they talked about adding a condition with gutters. That's exactly what Mr. Yeager asked.
Yep, so I did put that as the recommendation.
Okay, so that's part of the, if it gets approved, that will be, gutters will be required.
It is, yeah, staff's recommendation here, which is planning
I
commission's
saw the gutter
recommendation.
part, that wasn't what I was talking, but I'm satisfied. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Any more questions for staff? Looks like we don't have any. Looking for a motion.
So moved to approve.
Okay, motion by Bevins, second by Chesak. Discussion on the motion. Tony, call the roll.
Bevins?
Yes.
Chesak?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Stunek?
Yes.
Yeager?
Yes.
Erickson?
Yes.
O'Day?
Yes, motion carries. Moving on to 10G, this is a policy for facility use, and this is Nick Broyles, City Administrator.
Thanks, Mr. President. To my knowledge, the city has not had a public facility use policy up to this point. That has created a couple of instances where we've had some issues. So the purpose of this policy, it's a 3-page policy. I'll just hit a couple highlights and then I'll try to answer any questions you have. But we identified in the purpose that city facilities exist primarily to support and conduct official city business and activities that further the city's governmental functions, services, and strategic objectives. Another pillar of this is to minimize any risk or liability or operational disruption to the city as we consider how we utilize our public facilities. There's a few definitions, but the policy statement that we are proposing is that the City of Brainerd facilities are not open for general public use. They should be limited for official city operations and functions and any governmental partners and interagency collaboration. Item 4 is just prioritizing some of those things. Application and approval process, I think it's of note. I don't want to be misleading in any way, but this policy would suggest that the city administrator would have administrative authority as a final authority to approve, deny, or any conditions for any use of public facilities. The city may impose reasonable conditions on use, limit frequency, duration, or scope of use, and then there's some revocation, termination, couple bullets there. I'm happy to answer any questions, but we've had some instances where entities that are not affiliated with city business are using some facilities, and it has just created some issues. So we're trying to clean that up. So this is clearly more restrictive than what we've done in the past, but I think it's in an effort to kind of take the oxygen out of some of the challenges or disagreements that we've had in the past. I'd be happy to answer any questions. And this has been vetted through our city attorney.
Thank you, Mr. Broyles. Mr. Mayor? Oh, Johnson?
I don't have any questions, but I wholly disagree with it. It's that city facilities are to be used in a manner that advances public purposes, preserves the ability for city operations, minimizes risk, and maintains neutrality and compliance with applicable law. I don't think that's the reason that we have facilities. That's not the reason we build parks. It's not the reason we have a meeting room at the police department. We build things for the community, for the public. These are public-owned buildings, not city staff-owned buildings. I don't think we should just put one person in City Hall at charge of determining who gets to use the buildings or not because they're city staff's clubhouses. I see that there's a purpose for a policy. I've long asked for a policy on city facilities and city equipment, but this isn't at all what I would have wanted when I asked for it. I think if the Rotary wants to meet in the pavilion at Rotary Park, I think they ought to be able to just show up and meet there.
Yep. Agreed. I see the point for this whole policy because obviously there's a liability that can come up, maybe has come up. But there's one way to do it is just not allow anybody to use the facilities. Another way to do it is allow everyone to use it whenever they want, or find something somewhere in between to regulate it. Nick and I talked about this last week, and it came up like, well, what about the library? So there's a lot of stuff that goes on in the library. Do we want to be the ones that have to say yes or no to a quilting class that they want to do next week? Maybe we don't have a meeting in time, things like that. I think a lot of that stuff can be handled administratively, and I don't think this includes the parks, does it? This doesn't include park pavilions.
Doesn't exclude the parks.
Right. Maybe we need to fine tune the whole policy and bring it back to have it a little bit more specific about what this pertains to. I'd have to read through it again to know what to change, but. Mr. Yeager?
Yeah, just real quickly, this just seems way too complicated to me. It feels like a lot of governance here. At the airport, we have a conference room. Anyone can call up, reserve it. If it's open, you can use it. You create damage, you're liable for it, period. It's, you sign up for it. It's that simple. I just don't want us to get down the slippery path of, yes, you can use it, but only if he says so, and just way too much. I simplify it, keep it open until there's a problem. Let's not try to fix it. That's all. Thank you.
Mr. Chezak?
Yeah, you accept the motion?
Is anybody else planning to speak on this? No? Okay, yeah, go ahead.
I would move that we do exactly what you suggested, Mr. O'Day, to bring it back with reword it, to make it more acceptable. I think I'm agreeing with what Gabe was talking about, what Mr. Yeager said, so
okay,
that's my motion.
You get that, Tony? Okay. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion by Chezak, second by Johnson. Discussion on that motion?
Yeah, I'm just agreeing with everything I heard. It needs to be revisited.
Just one more caveat. I want to make sure this passes legal first. I want legal to weigh in on whatever comes back.
Absolutely.
Mr. Langle? Oh, you're just asking when it does come back, Mr. Yeager, or right now?
I'm saying why bring something back that doesn't pass legal?
Okay.
Craft the language, have Joe look at it.
Got it.
This man some time.
Okay.
I think Mr. Lange was nodding his head in improvement, is what I thought. But
Anybody else down here? All good? Tony?
Bevins?
Yes.
Chezak?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Stunek?
Yes.
Yeager?
yes.
Erickson?
Yes.
O'Day?
Yes. Motion carries. That does it for new business. Moving on to number 11, staff reports. Tony Gage. Chief Holmes.
Nothing further, thank you.
Chief Davis.
Nothing, thank you.
All right. Sean Strong.
Nothing.
Max? The dispatch is hiding back there now. Okay. Connie Hillman.
Nothing to add.
Jesse Dean.
I'm going to try and be brief. Last week, the Oak Street PMT for the project met, discussed some goals and kind of some of the desired objectives out of the project. We'll continue to work on that process throughout the next couple months, and as well as crafting what the initial stakeholder and public engagement meetings and outreach are going to look like. Further, the Highway 210, we had 2 public open houses over at Crow Wing County Land Services, MnDOT held that, just to answer questions about upcoming construction and detours. A lot of that detail is on the MnDOT website. We do have that in our engineering page. We have links to all those, so people can find that information whenever they need to. They can sign up for email alerts, all those bits and pieces. I did include it in my report. There is some work that is occurring out there. It's really related to the private utilities getting kind of out of the way of the construction project. Come mid-April, you'll see a lot of things start to ramp up with the prime contractor on the project starting to get prepped, ready to go for kind of that May 1st. So,
Thank you, Engineer Dean. James Kramvik.
Thank you, Mr. President. So just want to update on the upcoming Planning Commission meeting on the 15th. So there'll be a workshop at 5 o'clock to before the actual meeting to kick off the comprehensive plan update. Then there's an application for a variance for a gym driveway just a block over for potential new remodel on that building. And then we're continuing to work on the shoreland ordinance. I think we're getting very close on it. So I believe Planning Commission will be reviewing a final document.
Thank you, Mr. Kramvik. Mr. Langel.
Nothing here, thank you.
Brittany Cummett.
Nothing to add.
Paul Sandy.
We have upcoming facility tours this week. Many of you signed up for those tours. I think we'll adjourn to those tonight, but April 9th at 12 o'clock for the wastewater treatment facility, April 10th for the water treatment facility at noon, and April 16th for the hydro dam at noon. Otherwise, the Utility Commission had a pretty long meeting here on March 31st. Welcome all the council members to watch that meeting. There was a lot of business that was handled during that meeting. That's all I have.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Sandy. Mr. Charpentier, are you out there? Not on tonight. Okay. Mr. Broyles.
No, sir. Nothing
to add?
Nothing to add.
All right, then we're on to the Honorable Mayor Badeau.
This has been the longest meeting in the history of meetings, and I thank anyone that has survived it. If you need counseling, we can help you find some counseling on how to deal with the pressures of, I am trying to make it longer. No, I think I thought there was a lot of good business here at the city, and although sometimes it takes a really long time to get there, I appreciate all the heavy lifting that our staff has done, even though sometimes we got to put the thumb on you about budgets and whatnot. So I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Chesak.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to thank everybody as well for the robust discussion. And I'm telling you, I am getting really fed up with the discussion going on when people are talking. Can we just curb it? It's tiring. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chesak. Mr. Stunek.
I would just like to say, have an open mind about changing the meeting till 6 or 6:30. It's going to be 11 o'clock before we get out of here. That's ridiculous. Change a meeting to 6 and 6, or try it for 3 months, see what people think. I would just say, have an open mind to that.
Thank you, Mr. Stunek. Mr. Yeager.
Yes, thank you very much. Just one bit of very tragic, sad news. Mr. Darrell Palmer, who is our Airport Commission Chair, tragically lost his youngest son last Wednesday. So on behalf of the Airport City Council, City of Brainerd, we would like to extend our deepest sympathies to Mr. Palmer and his family at this time. That's all.
Thank you, Mr. Yeager. Mr. Bevins.
Nothing to add.
Thank you. Chairman Erickson.
After over 3 hours of continuous use, my Brainerd issued laptop nearly combusted, so I apologize for losing it there for a minute. And I bet a half an hour of it can be attributed to the roll call vote, so thank you for your patience.
Thank you, Chairman Erickson. Chairman Johnson.
Thank you. I hope everybody had a happy Easter. Michigan won 69-63. Hope you weren't recording it. And I wish Artemis 2 Godspeed on their journey home
Seinfeld, he
from
was
the
gonna
moon.
Seinfeld it. I knew it was gonna happen.
Thank you for ruining everyone's night,
Jesus.
Mr. Johnson. I have nothing to add, but we are looking for a motion to adjourn to closed session per Minnesota Statute 13D.05 Subdivision 2B for preliminary consideration of allegations against an individual subject to the council's authority.
So move.
Motion by Stunek.
Second.
Second by Bevins. Tony?
Bevins.
Yes.
Chesak. Johnson.
Yes.
Stunek.
Yep.
Yeager.
Yes.
Erickson.
Yes.
O'Day.
Yes.
I don't have to go.
Let's just, as quickly as we can, if we could just do this in a couple minutes.
Am's Gray.
I don't know who's all supposed to be in the room.